The podcast on Haunted Hill will contain spoilers and swearing.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Please help us, Michael. Be one of us.
I didn't tell you my name.
Hang up.
I didn't tell them my name.
They're all a part of it. They're all parts of it.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Hello and welcome to the podcast on Haunted Hill, episode 169. Nothing sexual joke content going on with those numbers. Moving past them. My name is Gav. Who are you?
I'm Dan.
Intrepid hosts like Indiana Jones with a big ball rolling behind him, and as he runs along, that's like me and Dan as our mouths roll along with words with a big ball coming out of our mouths.
I thought then you were trying to say that you were Indiana Jones and I was just a big ball rolling behind you.
Oh no, we're both Indiana Jones with a big ball rolling behind us together. Everybody, we're all together in this, listening right now, aren't we? I hope everyone's all right, and Happy New Year to the world.
Happy New Year to all of our listeners and supporters. It is the year 2025. Mankind has... Nothing's changed, guys.
No, not really.
Not a lot's going on, really.
Well, some stuff has. There's been a few natural disasters and things and whatnot.
We'll talk about that in a minute. I've got a theory about that. So, yeah, it's episode 169. It's our first episode of the year. And I think, as was the case last year, as we kick off our 11th year of podcasting, which is mental, it is a
I've still got that little musical thing we did for that somewhere.
Doesn't matter. We do it live every time.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. No one wants a recording. We want it live.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we're live, but you know what I mean. And it is our lovely friend Rachel's choices today. She selected a couple of beauties for us.
She said she wanted to do things which are accessible for people, because these are currently in the region of over here in Europe on Netflix. Their films are on. That's a really weird way of saying all that.
They are. Yoda just said. Let me just translate what Yoda said. In the UK, both films we're reviewing this episode are currently on there on Netflix.
Yeah.
You did that brilliantly there. So that's very thoughtful of Rachel. And movies.
The movies are
Netflix movies you can watch, yes.
on UK, I think.
Kingdom of United. The two films she selected are both from the year 20...
Yoda to watch Pornhub. What selection do they have?
Selection they have.
Selection they have, yes.
Anal double.
Double anal.
Anal double. Always the two there are.
Swamp ladies.
There is another Skywalker.
Slippery slump.
So the two movies are both from 2022 that Rachel has selected. One of them is a German film called Old People.
Old People?
Brilliant. Oh, thanks, Gav, as the Germans would say. Old People. And then the other movie, so I've not seen either of these, and I think, Gav, you've definitely seen one of them, which is the other movie, which is the one that everyone's talking about, which is Talk to Me. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Second
Confusing.
viewing of it was first.
Yeah. So they're both on Netflix now. Talk to Me very recently hit. Old People is on there. I think it's a Netflix exclusive, but it's a German movie. Occasionally, Netflix do chuck on some European and other foreign international horror films and other movies, and they're pretty damn good, some of them. So it's cool. It was cool to check both of these out. We'll get into those in a moment when we get to that part of it. But Gav, as it is our first episode of the year, I better explain something to our listeners who are new, because you haven't said it yet, actually. So welcome to our new listeners, if you're new,
Welcome back.
If you're a returning listener,
Welcome front.
and if you're just popping in now and again,
Welcome all round.
oh, hello, reach around. Yeah, we used to do a segment a while back called Time Team, where I've got my time machine, which I built, painstakingly built by hand, and Gav and I would don our suits and go back in time every episode to
Polish our helmets.
we would, and we'd go back in time to a year,
Yep.
mainly to talk about the horror movies that were out that year, but also to have a quick look at what was going on in the world and the news and nature and science, but mainly to sort of take a look at what was going on in horror. I think we started that in probably like the 30s, so we went back to the 1930s, and we eventually caught back up with the year 2023.
Yeah.
However, the year 2024 is now finished, so later on in this episode, we won't be getting Bill Murray this episode, but we will be getting us going into our time machine and going back to the year 2024,
I know.
just last year, just to have a look at what went on.
It's good. Always come back to that. And Bill always needs a break after
He
the
does.
Christmas. He gets a bit on it.
You know what he's like on a New Year's party.
Yeah.
It was
Those pictures when he's sitting on the photocopier.
It was a white Christmas for him, but it was also a white New Year. That's all I'll say. And I'm not talking cocaine, I'm talking semen.
It was all white.
Sorry, Bill. So yeah, time team's coming up as well. It's going to be a fun-packed episode.
What is he doing? Just constantly jacking off.
Just constantly jizzing everywhere. Just everywhere.
Maybe it's like a disease.
It's like the end. You know the end of the first Ghostbusters movie.
What?
That wasn't Marshmallow.
It's not real, is it? The dude that couldn't stop orgasming, and then he was at his dad's funeral, orgasming. That's,
What are you talking about?
There's something. My brain thinks something's there, where there's a dude that couldn't stop orgasming, and then he had to go to his dad's funeral, and he's there just going, oh.
Oh my god.
Is that like some Black Mirror type shit? I don't know.
Well,
Or my head.
if you know, guys, please send us a postcard to the usual address.
Or is it real? If that's real, fucking hell.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, let's get into episode 169. It's not 69, it's 169.
It's really annoying because Elijah is 10 and he doesn't doesn't know 69 what the connotations of the numbers, but he always like 69 dude because of Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Well, I always did as a younger
But
kid,
then
you know.
he adapts it whenever it's 69 look 69 oh 69 and it's like just no. He hasn't recently for a little while.
Yeah,
actually.
don't tell him about that for a little bit longer.
I'm not good. I can tell him that. Figure that shit out for himself.
Yeah, I used to do that though because of Bill and Ted. I think when until I was about
I know.
13, I understood what it actually meant. Somebody at school told me, I was like, oh, it's a rude joke in Bill and Ted. Hee hee hee. My parents won't understand that. Obviously they did. Jesus Christ.
Of course they did. Yeah.
Anyway, enough about.
It's hilarious in the 80s where our parents probably just didn't really care. And you'd be sitting in front of the TV and they'd just be watching it as well, and then something just complete naked woman full on nudity would just like come on the screen and just go off again, and they wouldn't even whatever.
I was watching a quiz show.
Okay.
I was watching a quiz show with my in-laws over Christmas, and one of the questions on there was about the Hawk Tour girl, which I'm sure everybody is familiar with.
No.
Oh God. Have you not seen the GIF, the meme, the TikTok? It's literally everywhere. The girl that's like, Hawk Tour, you got a Hawk Tour on that thing.
No, I've never seen it.
You're probably the only person in the known galaxy.
I have no idea what
But the
you're
girl
talking
now
about.
has her own podcast off the back of being interviewed in the street on TikTok, and somebody said, what's one thing you got to do to keep the relationship alive? And she goes, you got a Hawk Tour on that thing.
Yeah, I've done.
And she's now got her own podcast. But anyway,
What, just because of that?
Yeah. So one of the questions in this thing I was watching with my in-laws was, what was this girl famous for doing? And they sort of, everyone on the show was talking about it for about 3 minutes, and it was so uncomfortable sat there with my 75-year-old in-laws. Like, oh God, I can't laugh at any of this stuff, and I can't acknowledge that I know what they're talking about. So I'm just going to bury myself behind this cushion like I used to when I was 10 years old, and the sex scene in Ghost came on when I was watching it with my parents, and I just pretend I'm not here.
Amazing.
Go to my happy place. But there we go. Happy New Year.
I've never heard of that though. So.
Any resolutions, Gav?
No, I've been gymming it quite a bit, but that's not a resolution because it's quite funny. January, I was going to the gym. I joined it in December, so I was already going. And then come January, you notice more people, and you're like, "Oh, you're the New Year's people." Like, I'm gonna get fit, and like I'll see how long keep seeing you for until I don't see you anymore. But I've been going to the gym quite a bit. Really enjoying that actually. Getting buff. I want to pick up big tree logs like Commando in the woods. That's the game. That's the game. That's the aim and the game.
And I will be there feeding deer ice creams with you.
I'll sit on your lap and I'll put an ice cream into your nose.
Bambi wants some ice cream.
When he has that pushed in his face, it's fucking amazing. I love Arnie.
Who doesn't?
No resolutions really. I'm just pushing Deadbolt. I'm going for it with Deadbolt. It's like, let's fucking do it. Let's fucking go. So I think we're pushing it pretty hard. It's not a resolution really. It's just doing that. But no, I don't really do resolutions so much. Have you got anything?
No, not really.
I don't really do it. I used to a little bit, but then it's like, it's nice to have a start and date.
I've done the things I want to do, really.
Starting
I don't
fresh and
anymore.
trying to do something's good. Yeah, like if you were going to do something, it's good. But the thing is, though, it's like the gym. I was thinking about gym. Like, I had a gym membership when I was probably mid-20s and couldn't really be bothered to go. I was going along and sitting in the spa and having a swim. Do you know what I mean? A jacuzzi. But this time I'm really going for it, and it's quite nice. I think it's like everything, drugs or alcohol or cigarettes, you got to want it.
Yeah.
It's got to be the right time, and you've got to go, yeah, I don't want that. Or it's like,
You've got to have the
I
time
want
as
to
well.
go to the gym and spend a couple of hours pumping iron.
Yeah, I wouldn't have the time at the moment to do that. I used to.
Yeah.
I used to go to the gym every lunch break.
It's quite
There was
hard,
a gym
actually.
in my office.
I've realised more I've been doing it, more I've been wanting to go, more I've been realising when do I do it? Where do I, it's quite hard, actually. Yeah, and then I've been going for longer and going, I need to be doing it all casually and not pushing it really hard, doing it properly and having rest between reps and stuff. It says. And so I need longer time, but yes, that's it really. I hope everybody out there, listeners, I hope you're all doing well and have like a good tidings coming your way, and everything you're going to do is positive. If you've got any New Year's resolutions,
indeed, and we don't have anything special for. Well, I mean, we do, but we don't like with our 10th year. We tried to do a lot of directors' specials and a lot of franchises.
Oh, we did last year. That's right.
We're
Yeah,
back to sort of regular
normal,
programming
just
this
normal
year.
stuff. We've got some good stuff coming up there.
Really good stuff coming up this year, so stick with us. And in the outro, I'll mention our next 3 episodes as always. Just should probably mention America having a bit of a tough time at the moment, especially in LA, where there are some terrible wildfires tearing through a lot of people's homes and properties and businesses. And I do have a small theory, as dark as it sounds, that I think some celebrities are cashing in on this, and those celebrities might be the ones that were on the Epstein and the Diddy lists, because some celebrities whose homes have been lost probably had stuff within those homes that they didn't want found.
There hasn't really been anyone really on the Diddy list.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, that was it.
There's been a few on there.
Oh, okay, that's all I heard. But
they all own multiple properties, those celebs. So But
I don't think that's valid. I like the theory and the idea, but I don't think it's valid.
I just think the same with 9/11. You'll always get the people that cash in, like those people that pretended to die during 9/11.
I tell you what's worse: is people dressing as a fire department and actually looters.
I know, that's a bad one.
Like, come on, you cunts! Like, really?
Yeah, and in a month where Trump is, not that we're going to get political, but in a month where Trump is about to be become president again, probably not a great start for the year to our American listeners. So we love you all and are sending you all well wishes.
Yeah.
But enough of politics and terrible things.
Yep.
Let's talk about what we've been watching.
Well, let's throw back very quickly back to Christmas. I know we don't wouldn't do that because this
No, I
year
love
we
it.
have a new
I
one.
love a bit
but
of Christmas. Get your jingle bells out.
Well, not really. I was just going to say, on Boxing Day, Olivia Hussey passed away.
She did. I did see that.
Which, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day night, as I do religiously, I like to get in bed, me and Sarah in bed late at night and watch Black Christmas. And it's, I love her. Hello. Going, and unfortunately passed away Boxing Day, so that's a shame.
Great movie, and I was thinking about that movie today, funny enough, while I was on the toilet. Don't know why. And I was thinking, you know what? I prefer, you're going to think, what the fuck? You might not actually. I prefer Black Christmas to the original Halloween.
No, not at all.
It's, to me, a more chilling...
I love that film.
It's a more chilling,
it's raw.
better...
It's very, very raw. It's very more calculated, and the music score is very more cinematic.
It doesn't end nicely either.
Just the sound design of the voices.
Yeah, it's great. Really
what
good.
He's saying at the times, like you cunt and all this sort of stuff. So,
great acting.
Wow. Okay.
Fellatio.
It's great, and John Saxon. It's a really, really good film. I really thoroughly enjoy watching that Christmas Day night. I don't know why. It's just I will do that till I die.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
I had birthday weekend. It's my birthday just gone.
You did.
We have got my birthday episode coming up next time.
Indeed.
And I did actually watch a movie. I watched the prequel to Rosemary's Baby called Apartment 7A.
Now, we got a little connection to that. But first of all, was it good? How was it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's very much in the vein of the original, but a bit more going Suspiria, but not as in style, but just as like ballet dancing and that sort of thing. And it's about a ballet dancer getting in, and then
so it's set
before.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay,
and it's basically a house. The same sort of principle, and they take her in, and she gets a room in this apartment of all this apartment block. She gets an apartment very cheaply, and she manages to get into the dance school and all this stuff. And the dance school, who personally says yes or no, it's my friend actually, my friend Jim.
Yeah.
And he says yes or no, and she's let in, and it all goes a bit bad. He's pretty damn creepy in it. He'd make quite a good serial killer actually. And yeah, it's the exact same movie really as Rosemary's Baby. You know what's going to happen if you've seen it. It's not as done as well as Rosemary's Baby. But
that's hard. That's a hard task, though, isn't it?
Yeah. The build up into everything it's a bit more emotive, I think, in Rosemary's Baby. This one, it's a bit more black and white. It's fine though. I'll probably recommend it. Not if you got something else you're thinking, maybe watch the other thing. But it's not a bad movie in any way. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to check it out.
It's worth a watch actually. And the lead person was the lead lady was, I've seen her from that TV show. Oh fucking hell! Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna remember. Fuck
Brilliant.
Knows. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
All right. So you recommend
Watch
that
that
one?
with my eldest. Yeah, I'll recommend it. It was right.
All right. The first film I wanted to mention is back from 2017, but I missed it and kind of forgot about it, and then it came back up on my list. And that is an Ozploitation movie, a creature feature as well, called Boar.
Nice. Oh, Boar's fucking excellent film.
I fucking loved it.
Have you never seen it?
No, that was my first watch.
Dude, when it tears through the whole house.
It was so good.
And the guy's there. Ah! Yeah.
And funnily enough, and spoiler alert, I'm going to mention it in a minute anyway, I also watched Cocaine Bear the other day.
Nice.
They would pair up quite nicely. But yeah, Boar, that Ozploitation,
Boar's
they
good.
do it so well.
Yeah.
The Aussies, they have a good laugh.
Really good photography in that film. Really beautiful sets.
Really
scenes.
beautiful photography, fantastic effects. And I heard when it hit Fright Fest, apparently people were going crazy about the effects because for the most part the effects are really good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the old
You're thinking of Razorback?
Razorback.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Razorback. Everything I've said is about Razorback.
Brilliant.
But I do have Boar. I have it on DVD in my collection, and I didn't mind watching that myself. Hasn't that got Bill Moseley or someone in it?
It's got Bill Moseley in it, and it's also got the guy who plays the main killer in Wolf Creek. I forget his name now.
Garrett.
Mick Garrett.
Was that his character's name?
Yeah.
It might be John
anyway,
something, actually.
It's him anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And no, it was all right. That film's okay as well.
Really, really good. I'd like to do another Ozploitation, and
You
I'd like to.
threw me when you said Ozploitation, because proper Ozploitation obviously is the sort of 70s and 80s films,
Yeah.
and that would have been Razorback.
But imagine if we did Razorback and Boar, two Aussie piggy movies.
Have we done? Yeah, I would say we could both definitely do that, because we could compare both sort of films. Have we done Ozploitation, the
Yeah,
genre?
we did.
I thought we did. Maybe
We
we
did
just do a
Mad
part.
Max and
Oh, great.
the movie with the I'm gonna do you up the bum and then wipe it on the curtain.
Oh, Waking Fright.
Wake and Fright.
Brilliant film. I haven't seen that since.
I'm glad
then.
you knew it from that. You knew it from that.
Yeah. I do kind of recommend this movie to people. I actually did recently. It was in a little Deadbolt meeting, actually.
I'd never seen it until you recommended it. So
Anyway, let's do Ozploitation Part 2.
okay, love it. And that's Boar for anyone who hasn't seen it.
I did go to the cinema twice.
Yes, you did.
Contrasted films which are out right now that I saw in the cinema. I saw Sonic 3 and Nosferatu. Couldn't get any further away from each other.
I love the first Sonic movie, and I thought
Yep.
the Sonic 2 was really good as well.
And I think, unfortunately, I think it's Jim Carrey's last film, Sonic 3, but it's really good, and he loves it. He's
He's
there.
in it twice, isn't he?
He's just chewing up scenery. He loves doing it.
Yeah, I can tell.
And it was really good fun, because I'm a big fan of the Sonic movies. I think they're really good.
Me too, and I've heard that the ending opens up for the fourth one as well. So
It's funny, because I say to someone like Sarah, oh, you should check out the Sonic movies. She's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And it's one of those things, you don't really think of watching animation so much, like something like that. But because I've got kids, I'm kind of like, I go and watch these, and every once in a while you watch a movie and you're like, that's fucking well good. I'll tell you what I enjoyed, the new Wallace and Gromit film. That was pretty deep. That was really good. Yeah, check it out.
I mean, when I watched the first Sonic movie, I remember as the credits rolled, I just felt really happy, and
It was just a good film.
Yeah, it just made you feel good. Do you know what I mean?
It's just a nice little story. Go into something and ignore the world. Yeah, it's good like that.
Yeah.
Nosferatu. It's funny. I've never seen any other Nosferatus. No, I got to admit, I was.
What?
Yeah, I still haven't. And
You've not seen Nosferatu?
I was having a bad day. I couldn't get into the gym that day. I was literally there with all my gear and I couldn't get in. I had a problem, and it annoyed me, which is really weird. I never thought I'd be annoyed and not getting into a gym, which is strange. And I kind of went into watching it a bad way, and I kind of put down on the Facebook page it was boring. It's not boring. I was told off for that, sort of. I think I didn't know the story, and I didn't realise it's basically the story of Dracula. But I did know Dracula family, the Stoker family, did actually sue, and they got rid of most of the copies of Nosferatu. But then the one copy was left, and that's how So it's a weird one.
So the story
it was kind of the same
quickly,
story.
Is that they wanted to do a Dracula film, but the Stoker family wouldn't allow it, so they basically slightly changed some of it and basically told the same story but with different names.
So going watching it again, I was just a bit like, oh, okay, it's the same story, but it's a bit more romantic. It's a bit more focused more on the lady who Nosferatu has his romance eyes on, and I don't know, it was okay. It's a bit too long, period wise. Incredible if you look at the costumes, but Eggers comes from doing costumes and stuff, so and that is just amazing. The set design, the rats and stuff. It made me wish I'd been watching a movie about the Black Plague of London or anywhere, a plague, because I think he would make that incredible. But the vampire one, it was okay. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson was really miscast. Like, his acting is Bullet Train or Craven the Hunter or whatever. He is not period drama. It's like chucking Keanu Reeves in Dracula. Yeah. And speaking of Dracula, that is the best version of that story. It just is
best cinematic.
It is, hands down. I think after when we reviewed it, I was just like, fuck me, it's incredible.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you know, I did all my Universal movies over October, and the couple of years before that I did all the Hammer. It is hard, you know. Those Hammer movies are great, the Universal movies are great, and especially the first Dracula from each of those studios are very, very good. But it feels weird to say because it's a newer film, but then it's not, because it's from the early 90s, which is actually a long time ago now. And that, you're right, that Bram Stoker Dracula it's the best, probably the best one, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Gary Oldman's just incredible.
Hard to think of another version of Dracula that's
really well cast. And actually, I was watching it not long ago, and Keanu Reeves isn't as bad as it could be. And if that is the bad thing about that film, then that's, do you know what I mean?
Over the years, because it's been sat with us for so many years, I've kind of grown to love some of those little flaws with it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's fun.
Winona Ryder is perhaps slightly miscast, and
perhaps a little bit.
Even the werewolf wanking in the woods and all that kind of stuff. But you know, you like that, do you?
But yeah, I think that Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think that's his name. He's just his acting. That's pretty much the peak of his acting ability there. That is it. He's not going any higher than that, and it's a bit like yes, it's a shame because someone else could have really fucking got in there, like William Dafoe's in it,
or Robert Pattinson did amazing in The Lighthouse.
Robert Pattinson could have done that, and it would have been really good. You could really go into it, and he was just literally like, let's go to him. Okay, well, what's smoking? Oh, blah, blah. And it's like,
I tell you, there is another Dracula movie that I really enjoyed recently, and that's the Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, that's a good film. Yeah, that's right.
Really enjoyed that as well.
So I think Nosferatu, I thought it was a little dull. Sorry, I thought it looked really good. It's a shame because I love Eggers, but I don't know what I was wanting.
I recommend checking it out again when you're feeling.
I said to Sarah, actually, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it when it's like an afternoon. I can know what I'm getting into, and I'll just put it on, because the periodness of it was gorgeous. It looked really beautiful. It's like the eye to attention to detail is incredible. I'd say for classes for filmmakers who are doing art design and stuff, or that's art department stuff and set design and characters and costumes, you know, watch that. But I think the story should. I don't know, why is it so long? Why a movie so long now?
Well, talking of which, I might as well get mine.
It costs more money to make them so long. Why? Cut them down.
I might as well get mine out the way now. I've got a rant to have.
Yeah.
So there's a brand new movie. That's just, everyone's raving about it. I'm talking about Wicked. Me and Alice watched it.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You've heard of it?
I'm going to have no opinion of it whatsoever. I'm not going to.
So, a big fan of the stage production. Been to see it a couple of times.
Oh, really? I don't know what. Is it Wizard of Oz?
It's the prequel to. It's the backstory of the Green Witch, the Wicked Witch of the West, and it's done. It's really amazing. Like, the musical is amazing, and I've been to see it a couple of times. Like I say, it's great. Probably one of the best musicals I've seen on the stage.
I saw Starlight Express when I was a kid.
Amazing. That's so 80s. So Alice and I said, let's have a date night. Let's not go to the cinema. And I got a side tangent about that in a moment as well. Let's rent it at home, stream it at home. Let's try and get the kids down to bed early. It's £15 to stream. So we did that. Got some snacks. Sat down and watched it. And we laughed all the way through at how terrible it was. Because, let me explain my reasoning before anybody sort of furiously sends me a postcard. As I've said, I'm a big fan of the musical.
I'm going to send an angry pigeon.
No, the musical is about 3 hours long. So you got like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Then you go for a break. Then you come back for the last hour, and it's brilliant. That's fine. This movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and it's part 1. Part 2 is coming out next year, or this year. So you're talking about almost 6 hours of film from a 3-hour-ish musical. And the problem is that they've padded out the film with loads of random backstory and extra bits that weren't in the musical, and I don't know, it just felt absolutely utterly ridiculous. And I'll just have my rant now very quickly. The accents in it were terrible. You got Peter Dinklage, isn't it, as a goat, trying to do a British accent. He is appalling. His British accent is terrible.
Why don't you just get a British accent?
Why don't they just get a goat? There's a British guy in it. I can't remember the character's name. He plays the prince, and he is, when he starts singing, he turns into an American, and then in the middle of the song, his accent's flitting between British and American. It's just appalling. The effects feel like they're 90% finished. It feels like they couldn't quite bring themselves to finish some of the special effects.
Is it Disney?
No. I can't remember the studio. And it's just, I ended up giving it 4 out of 10.
Good date night then.
Well, we actually really enjoyed.
You had a laugh though, because you're taking the piss out of it.
Yeah, we spent the time together, laughing, and we sort of passing the popcorn backwards and forwards, and it was just really lovely. And I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I would recommend it to people if you're a big fan of it from the stage production. Go into it expecting it to not be what you see in the theatre. And I would also say to people, don't spend the £15 on it. Wait for it to be maximum of £5, ideally free. I'm not completely slating it because it did have some good things in it. I don't particularly like Ariana Grande. I like some of her music, but she was quite miscast in my opinion. And I know that's the complete opposite to what all the people are saying online, TikTok and everywhere else. However, the critic reviews do mirror what I feel, which is that it's over-padded, overstuffed, overcomplicated, and they could have just scaled it back and just told the story that you've seen in the stage production and made it fun. Instead, it got boring. The special effects were crazy and wild. And my ultimate opinion of it is, and this might sound good on paper to some people, if you want to go and see High School the Musical meets Harry Potter, but that takes place in the land of Narnia, go and watch this. That might sound good on paper. It doesn't work on film.
I'm not sure how many of our listeners would be watching Wicked.
I think a lot of people would.
Really?
I think a lot
Okay.
of people, yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure Sarah's not going to say to me, Gav, do you want to watch Wicked?
And my tangent, I'll just to wheel back around to what I mentioned just now, is I said to somebody that we were doing that, and they said, "Oh, why would you watch it at home? I think you should really watch it on the big screen." And I said, "Well, I can't get to the cinema to watch it." And they were like, "Yeah, you can go watch it. £15, it's cheaper at the cinema."
Did you say you got kids?
Well, yeah, they know me. It's one of my best friends, and they were sort of saying, but it's cheaper to go to the cinema. And I was like, for you it is, because you can walk to the cinema, you spend £5.
It depends. If you're going to then pay for parking, pay for the petrol.
Hang on. I worked out it would cost about 120 quid for me and Alice to go and watch this, because we would have to spend about 15 quid each on a ticket, maybe 10 if you're lucky, for an evening showing, then petrol, parking, snacks, and then we need a babysitter for a minimum of 4 hours that will babysit 2 kids. So it's going to cost between £100 and £120 for us to watch that film.
Showcase Sunday nights do $4.99. Monday nights.
Yeah, but I've still got to pay a babysitter.
Yeah, but I'm saying
so
it's cheaper to
I go to cinema. I still go to cinema about once a month on my own. It's impossible for us to go together. But this is what I was saying to one of my friends.
Oh, yeah.
It's all very well for you to say.
When the kid's young, you can't do shit. It's just the way it is.
No, exactly.
It's the way it is, and it will be for a little bit, and then it can change.
But if you think about it this way, it's 15 quid, but that was £7.50 each. And we had a good old laugh watching it.
What is the age you can leave kids by themselves? 13?
4. My kids turned 4 this year, so 4.
Just leave them.
See ya.
So
I'm off to work for the day.
13, so you got about 9 years till you both can go out and just leave.
And I don't care, because Alice doesn't normally want to go to the cinema anyway, not that often.
How disappointed would you be if you
films.
got off your arse though, actually go out to watch that movie and you're disappointed by that movie? Do you know what I mean?
Especially if I spent 120 quid, with babysitter.
You'd have been like
fees,
literally
petrol.
like you'd have looked at Alice and said, Alice, I don't care what you say. I'm popping my cock in his popcorn, and you're fucking going for a rummage because this movie sucks.
It took about 20 minutes before Alice looked at me and said, she laughed and said, "What the fuck is going on?" I said, "This is not like the musical." But anyway, enough about that. I also watched a great film the other day, which I mentioned, called Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. I saw it at the cinema.
Hell.
I had to see that at the cinema. I was like,
The problem is, Gav,
I think I
went-
stated very correctly. I think I stated on the podcast Facebook page when it came out. I said, "This is going to go in my collection. I don't even know what it's like." And lo and behold, I've got the Blu-ray in my collection because I was like, "Yes, absolutely."
Well, I went into it expecting it to be a comedy, maybe a slightly low budget comedy, and some of the effects are slightly quirky.
It's
but
got a bit of a budget to it.
Jesus Christ, the gore!
Yeah,
I did not expect that. There's a scene, not to spoil it, but there's a scene where a man is up a tree being eaten by the bear, also up the tree, who's high on cocaine. Both of them are, and the screams of pain as he's being devoured by this bear. I was like, this is bad. And
we should. I think, did I say put it on a list before?
it's on the list. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, we were going to do orca and grizzly.
We should do
But I
Wildlife
think we
Amok
should do-
again.
I just think we need to do grizzly and cocaine bear. Let's just have a bear
Let's just do a
episode.
bear episode because there's a great subgenre of bear horror films, and I love the wilderness movies. I love those, especially the 70s. Day of the Animals, Leslie Nielsen wrestling the bear in a nighttime thunderstorm, bareback himself. Wow.
But for anyone who hasn't seen Cocaine Bear, the title says it all.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go watch Ice
it
Cube
literally
Son,
does. Yeah.
it's so funny. It's got a great soundtrack, great acting, performances, really funny. I knew it was going to be a very
They're both.
adult film when the two small, very young children at the beginning do cocaine.
It's quite
off of
fun,
a-
isn't it?
I'm
That's
like,
why.
Whoa.
Because I was going watching my kids and I haven't yet. And at the time I remember thinking, I don't know, because it does really glorify coke for a little bit for kids. I have a great name, Cocaine and Bear, both two things which could be fun but dangerous.
Yeah.
So
I'd
this and
rather
that
have the cocaine than the
movie,
bear.
and that pretty much says that movie. It's a fun movie but slightly dangerous.
It's just fun, and there was even an homage to the Great Outdoors in there.
Oh, it's
for those
great.
of you-
But we'll definitely do a bear episode. Absolutely,
yes,
listeners. Sorry,
indeed.
listeners. We could get onto the films here. We will
We
go
will,
through each
we
other. It's
will.
the first of the day. I'll tell you another thing I watched.
Indeed.
I watched a Superman documentary about Christopher Reeve.
the Super/Man.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it's
I was trying to explain to Elijah, like, saying, when I was a little kid growing up, there was no superhero movies. There was some sketchy Spider-Man climbing up a wall sideways movies, which you'd
there was
occasionally see.
Batman.
No, not for me. Not for me growing up.
There was Batman. Adam West.
Yeah, but not movies.
Yeah, but it was still live action. You
But
know.
not like a proper big thing. Like the
No.
Batman films, Superman films were a big thing, and that was really the only superhero movie going. And it was Superman. And so I was trying to explain to Elijah, growing up as a kid, when you're real small, watching Superman, Christopher Reeve, when you're 4 or 5, it's crazy. He was in your head the most super of all men.
The best man of all men.
And Nigel said to Elijah, then he had this accident and explained about him and what happened, and just saying it's crazy as a kid growing up and going, oh, okay, this is a Superman in a film, but like it's a real person, and he's had this
And he's
accident,
vulnerable.
and it's a really strange thing, and I feel Christopher Reeve was a really amazing person.
He was.
I think he's a really amazing human being, actually. A fairly decent human being, and it's an unfortunate situation, but he really tried his best, but the documentary is worth a watch.
It's amazing, and it made
give
you cry.
Give you a tear. Oh, you seen it?
Yeah.
Give you a little tear.
Yeah. There's another documentary I want to see about Michael J. Fox called Still, Still. I haven't had the balls to watch it yet because I know I'll be crying all the way through that one, because he was another one of my heroes, and still is in some ways as a kid. Christopher Reeve, Michael J. Fox, these were people we looked up to when we were young, and to see them get ill and get old and in Christopher Reeve case pass away, you know, it's sad. But what an amazing life, and the documentary itself is a fantastic celebration of an amazing man, an amazing human being. What a great heart and a great spirit he had. He really was Superman.
Genuine,
really.
But and it just, I don't know, it hit me harder when I was a kid, the whole thing when it happened. It's just not hit. It's just like oh my, what? And you know. Anyway, on another thing, last thing I'll say, as it's my birthday, I actually got a present from the kids. I got a Scream game.
Oh, yes. So our buddy, our listener, our friend Dean Martin also said he got this, I think, for Christmas as well. So tell me, how does this work? Is it like Cluedo, but someone gets stabbed up? And
you download the Scream app, which you start at the same time playing it once you've put all your names into it and how many players. And you've got these cards, and there's a board of 4 different places. Think Cluedo. So there's 4 different areas Ghostface might end up being. He will ring up. He will ring up on the app. All of a sudden, Ghostface will ring up.
Oh shit!
And he'll say where he is. You know.
That's cool.
And you have different cards, and you have the scene from where the room is. Say the hallway or the school. And then it has what you've got to collect. Then you have to collect with someone, and when it's your turn, when you've got the knife, you're holding turn, you can choose someone and say, swap with me, but I need this, and you can sort of discuss what you need. But you're all working together as a team to win, so you all live, or you all will die. Ghostface will take you out.
Oh. Can there be a final girl or a final boy?
No, it's just everyone wins.
Oh, that's good.
Unless I was playing it totally wrong, but that's the way we played it, and it was really good because it stopped any arguments with the kids.
That's good.
There's no arguments. It's so good.
And so he rings up on the app, and you answer it, and you all listen to what he says. Is that right?
Yeah. So we're gonna play it again tomorrow night as well.
That's decent.
It's really good. It's really simple play. When a whole round's like 20 minutes, it's so much easier. Now I've got the Jaws game, and I've got some other games, and they're quite hard. It takes you about 45 minutes to figure out what you're doing, or remember what you're doing before you start playing, because it's such a lot. You know, this was really easy.
Nice.
You know? I'm sure Dean's listening, going, "That's not how you play the game."
He's like, I put a mask on and got a knife and went out, and no, he didn't. Dean wouldn't do that.
No.
Last film I watched it last night.
Yeah.
And it got under my skin. I know that you and Sarah have your opinions on it, but I
know what you're
find it very uncomfortable. I watched Long Legs.
No, I can understand where you're coming from. It has that to it. It just kind of just lingers.
I've got to watch it again now, because now I know the last act. I've got to go back and watch it again, because I've read lots of bits and bobs on it, and there's lots of clues and things. Once you know, it's one of those films, if you go back and watch it again, once you've seen it, you'll pick up on bits again. But what I found most disturbing was just some of the images hiding in corners and backgrounds. And of course, you know, they kept it a secret for most of the marketing, but Nicolas Cage is in it as Longlegs, and he's just unrecognizable for the most part. You can tell from some of the screaming, but my God, he got into character there, and I thought it was shot so incredibly beautifully. It felt like I was watching Seven or Silence of the Lambs or True Detective. So if you like any of those,
yeah, it's definitely taken those influences.
Yeah, if you like any of those, but you want a bit more of an occult, supernatural twist to it, it also at times felt a bit like that movie Prisoners with Hugh Jackman.
It started amping up at first. You're on a ramp up, going great. Then it just stalled and just kept going at flat, and it was like, okay.
There is a pause in the middle, but then there's a scene to bring you out of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That involves a table.
I probably wouldn't watch it again unless I had to.
Well, I really recommend Long Legs. If you want something that will get under your skin, watch it with the lights out. Settle it under a blanket.
Yeah. I tell you, I
won't say any more, really.
I saw it at the cinema, and as I find recently, well, not recently, it's always been the case, isn't it? When you go to the cinema, there's always someone or something to distract you. There's always just something that pops up, and I'm easily distracted like that. So
that's why these days I prefer to watch things at home for the most part.
Quite often, yeah, totally. I could if I thought back to pretty much every movie I've seen in the cinema recently, there was something going on. There's some group of people talking. Like in Nosferatu, there was just a woman just constantly talking, but in a distance from me, so it was okay. But you could constantly hear them talking. It's like, why isn't the person next to them saying, shut the fuck up?
No.
And it's like, so I know what you're saying there. If you're sort of by yourself, I'm going to watch a movie and it's raining outside, get under the blankets, watch it, you might have a lot better time with it. But I still found it a bit... If you're not expecting anything like a massive fucking exciting action and adrenaline fueled film, then yeah, you'll probably be right.
Yeah, like if you go and watch Cocaine Bear at the cinema, you don't mind the odd person rustling their bags and laughing and talking.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
That's fine.
But like watching Nosferatu, is
yeah, I want to check Nosferatu out. I was going to go to the cinema to watch
Lily
it. Lily
Depp's not too bad in it. She is, like when people get old and they have plastic surgery and their skin goes really tight. Her fucking forehead is so tight. So what is going on? You're a young lassie. What are you doing? And she shows some boobs. It's a bit weird because you feel like she must be like 15 or something. I know she's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit weird. I don't know. I think people will probably like it. I don't know. I think it's done very, very well. Thing is, this is the other thing I will say though. As a filmmaker, any film that does well in the cinema of horror, or not even a filmmaker, as an audience member and a fan of horror, any film that does well in cinema of horror is great for all of us because that means executives are going to go, oh, that did really well. Here's money. Like Eggers will get loads of money for his next film, whatever that is, whatever he wants to make. It seems to be not, the audience. It's what he wants to make.
Yeah, I love that about him.
Which is good. But yeah, it's good for everybody because that means more things will get greenlit.
Well, and when we get to jump in the time machine later on, we will probably be able to find out. But I personally feel that 2024 was a blinding year for horror.
It'd be interesting
really good year.
It's a shame because when we're doing them a lot closer to time each episode, I could sort of keep a track of films and how they're doing them. It's really interesting, but obviously it's been a bit of a while since the last one. Last year.
Although not every film was a banger for 2024, there was a hell of a lot of horror content out there for people, and so far this year, for 2025, there's a lot of stuff coming out like Wolfman.
Horror is actually doing pretty well, but always has done. Like how Universal saved Universal and cinema at the time. You got to remember, then there wasn't that many studios. There's a few, not a huge amount. Like horror saved it then. It seems to be like now, obviously the Marvel thing, they've kind of stepped back a little bit. They're concentrating a little bit more with hopefully more on what it is rather than a huge amount of things. And, it seems to be things have slowed a little bit, but horror seems to still keep the cinema train going,
Yeah.
Always has.
Yeah, and
it's good.
And the final thing before we get into Rachel's email, the final thing related to all of that really is congratulations to Demi Moore for winning a Golden Globe for her role in Substance.
Under comedy though.
Well, they have to put it under that because they wouldn't put it. They would because there is comedy elements in it.
Yeah, but I suppose there's no horror genre in there.
No. So it's under comedy.
Why not?
Because they still don't really recognise it, even though The Exorcist one.
It's such a weird thing because horror is an emotive, such an emotive.
But it doesn't win enough. It's the last time.
Jordan Peele
won an award,
won an Oscar for the writing, for script writing, for
Get Out.
Get Out.
But that was under a comedy as well. It's just the way it goes. It's just dark because horror is classed as dark comedy.
Fucking bunch of dickheads.
But it means that she is in the running now for getting nominated for an Oscar of some kind.
We'll
see how that goes.
It's a lot of it's all nonsense though, the award ceremonies, but at least recognition's okay, I suppose. But
and I'm glad that Demi Moore won.
Yeah, totally. And for a new movie, and I like new movies anyway, but Substance blew me away.
It did. So,
do you want to do Rachel's letter now? Because then
let's do it now.
It's so much better because if we did a trailer, then drop her letter, it doesn't seem right. We need to have the trailer then straight into the film. That's
true. So, what I'll do is I'll read out her message to me in full. So, thank you, Rachel, for taking the time to get this over to me. And she's going to talk about the two movies, bits that she liked about them both, why she selected them. So, I'll just read it. Here's Rachel's message. So, Old People. She says, this is a German movie that caught my eye on Netflix. I watched it dubbed because I was very tired, but then I rewatched it a few days later subtitled. I really enjoyed this movie. Similar to the last pick of mine, really, Mum and Dad, so she picked Mom and Dad with Nicolas Cage. She said it's in this case grandparents rather than parents getting murderous. There are also less laughs in this one for sure. She said, I got a 28 Days Later vibe from the opening credits with the declaration of some sort of curse that infects the frailest of the clan with a murderous rage, and then a smidgen of extreme violence, and then it is straight into a post-apocalyptic monologue with a shot of the cities all on fire at the hands of all of these OAPs. For anyone outside of the UK, that's old age pensioner. There was a slower build of character development, then for a good half an hour, but then still with mega creepy overtones. The scenes shot in the nursing homes were so unsettling. Then they really ramped it up a gear. The scene with the gross old guy, the leader of the gnarly grandparents, on the wedding night was intense. She's talking about the sock. We'll get into that. She said it was pretty horrifying. I got a wee hint of the old neighbour they're all scared of in Home Alone from this character, but only this guy is the real deal. I see what you mean there, right? She had the long sort of stringy hair. She said the ending is heartwarming though, but I have to say I'd find it very hard to trust Grandpa after all of that. So that's her take on old people. And later on we'll be discussing Talk to Me. But for Talk to Me, she says, this is also on Netflix. It's an Aussie movie, which I didn't know, Rachel. I didn't know it was an Aussie movie. It's an Aussie movie released in 2022. Both of these 2022, actually. I was keen on this when it was first released. It was awesome to go back and rewatch it again. Again, the opening scene of the movie is a banger. It gets very serious very quickly and certainly sets the tone. First time I saw it, and again, I remember thinking the absolute balls of steel these teenagers have, just being mega keen and excited and partying, all while being conduits for the dead. She sums it up so nicely. The younger brothers scenes are hard watch. I agree, and we'll get into that when we review it. And also the feet sucking scene is pretty bad too. This is great. Just reading out this random message for anyone who's not seen these movies yet. The feet sucking scene is pretty bad too, but mostly because I think it takes you back to when you were a teenager and how much shame you would have been subjected to if you'd have been caught sucking someone's toes while they were asleep. Rachel, is there something?
Rach, have you been sucking toes?
What's going on, Rach? I don't know if that's a normal thing. She says, I thought the end scenes in the hospital where the lights go off one by one were really good. Like with every light being switched off, the reality of what's happening sinks in. And then the very last scene is just great. A nice, terrifying cycle of things not to do at a party in high school. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to hearing you guys dissect these movies. There you go, man. That's what she says. There you go, man. So thank you so much, Rachel.
Cheers, Rachel.
Appreciate that so much, and to everybody who takes the time to do that for us.
Right, let's get into it, because it's been a 51-minute intro. Trailer, whoa.
The trailer's coming out. It's 51 minutes.
Everyone's tuned off. But if you haven't, you're still with us.
The first one of the year. They're here to listen to us, Gav.
Let's get on it.
Here's a trailer for old people.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hi, it's Donna.
Hey, big guy, how are you?
Good. Mom's driving.
Oh, I can't wait to see the three of you. When will you be here?
Is Grandpa coming to the reception tonight?
Where is Dad, anyway?
At the Solheim retirement home.
Noah, come. Let's go look for Grandpa.
What is this? A grave?
A monument supposed to protect families so they stay together.
Hello, Dad.
Whoever hurts them is cursed.
Thou shalt honor the old, for they are great in number. And one day you will all be like them.
I'm afraid that someday it won't be as perfect as it is now. There are all these people outside.
It was so easy for you to abandon someone.
Where is my child?
All of this started when you came.
What do you see? A man? Or a beast?
Old People from 2022, rated 15, an hour and 41 minutes. A woman travels home with her 2 kids for their sister's wedding, but finds herself defending her family against blood-seeking pensioners. Pensioners are like, give me your blood.
Now, we've seen a movie like this in a way with what was the zombie one?
Cockneys versus Zombies.
Yeah, we've kind of seen that in a way, but there was not just pensioners in that one. That was like the other way around. That was pensioners against zombies. This one is pensioners against normal people.
I feel early on only early on in the movie doesn't come back to it, but I thought it was setting a theme earlier on, and it sort of gave a sort of connection to X, the Ty West film, where it's about being old and then being jealous and wishing to be young again. X has that, and this seems to almost lay this out, but then doesn't go. It doesn't give a read. It's like a zombie movie. It's basically a zombie movie, but with old
actually,
people.
Funnily enough, my last comments on it, I'll read out now, are what I get from this film is, it is firstly the young people's fear of growing old and dying, their mortality. That's what I get from as the end credits roll. But also, this movie is also telling you the story of old people's anger towards other people, towards the youth, and to just being abandoned as they grow old. So I felt like that it did touch on that throughout, and then certainly that was the end point.
Yeah, we don't get a reason. Spoiler. We don't get a reason why it happens like you do quite a lot of zombie movies, and this seems to be a zombie movie. I wonder if they did at some point just go, let's change this to old people. Well,
you do. It's linked to that statue and the spiritual.
You'll have to explain to me then, because I must have missed it.
Yeah, it's to do with folklore, and I mean Rachel mentioned
old folklore.
And Rachel mentioned it as well in her message. She said,
you know me.
So there is kind of a reason for it, but it's not dwelled on too much, which is fine. And we've had kind of movies before where we've had kids that just become murderous for no reason, like that film The Children. We've had mum and dad, and now we've got old people. So I think we've done all the generations.
And in human, but some of the best horror movies really are ones that people can resonate with and feel like it's a part of real life. Do you know what I mean? A little bit more, and they're the ones which could be the scariest. And getting old, nobody, even the most money in the world, nobody gets away from being old. Every person is the same, and we're all the same anyway, but status and wealth apparently changes who we are, but everybody's the same, and we can't escape it. So it's good. Some people enjoy like the fear in horror movies of stuff that she can actually relate to, and some people yes, I'm not in any way. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll get old and be like I'm gonna be a rad old school granddad. I could be body popping in a shell suit.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Age comes for us all. This, though, is just more about... I like the fact that, although there is a reason for it, it's not, like I said, it's not dwelled on enough. It's just they don't understand why these old people are suddenly doing what they're doing. And if you think about it, we'll come back properly in a minute and talk about it, but there's that, like the scenes where we see the old people's home, the residents' home, where they're just tied to the bed because they haven't got enough staff to look after them, and they're just treating these old people like animals. And we do sadly know that this happens. So this is their uprising. Now, this is a German movie directed by Andy Fetcher. First thing I want to say about this movie is, dear God, this is shot so beautifully. The production, the scenery, the camera, the lighting, especially the outdoor lighting, either at night or in the day, it is wonderfully shot. It is shot like a Spielberg movie at times. I was blown away, actually, by the production for the most part. It's wonderful. The outdoor stuff especially, absolutely wonderful. I don't know if that's something you noticed.
No.
But, okay, well, there's a lot of sort of magic hour shots in this. For anyone who doesn't know, that's where the sun is in a very specific height, and you're getting that amazing glare and glow. It's beautifully shot, this film, throughout. You really feel that the filmmaker, the director Andy Fetcher, is he loves film, and he wanted to make a really good looking film, and he certainly has with this, in my opinion. So should we get into old people, Gav?
But go for it, yeah.
Oh, take your teeth out, Grandma.
We've got a family on their way to an old people's home.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of text on screen, first of all, about an ancient evil spirit affecting the old. And we find out a little bit more about this later. But basically, if you don't look after your elders, then the weakest in the family, the weakest in the clan will come back and get you, being the old. So as Rachel mentioned, the weakest in the clan, the old, will be infected by some kind of demon or spirit or infection and come back and kick you in the balls.
Actually, I should have written this down, but I would have possibly remembered it then.
We start off actually with an old man in a hospital. It's a very rainy night and he's on oxygen, and we get a lady called Melissa, who's his carer. She pulls up outside and she goes into, his name is Mr. Rainex. She goes into his apartment and the door's already open in there. So we know something's up because we've seen a few shots of this guy, and this is the Home Alone looking guy that Rachel was talking about, the guy who shovels salt in Home Alone. And she walks in. Now my first thought is, when she puts those rubber gloves on and she's like, Mr. Rainleg, where are you? What normally goes on, Gav? Why is she popping on the rubber gloves?
You think she is dropping a depository?
Oh, I want to know what Mr. Renke gets from her. Mr. Renke, it's me, Melissa, your nurse.
I don't think he's getting anything sexual. We probably can't get up anymore.
I don't know about that. But we can't see him anywhere, but we do see his empty wheelchair. And she's thinking, well, hang on a minute. He's in a wheelchair normally. He's confined. What's going on?
And he's body popping in the corner.
He spinning on his head on a bit of lino.
Getting down to Run DMC.
No, he creeps up on her and he says...
Yeah, he does.
He whispers, help me. And then he smashes her head in with the oxygen cylinder.
Interesting words before attacking.
Yeah, help me. Smash.
That's kind of to say that little bit there though does go to tell you that his body is being made to do something that his mind doesn't want to happen.
Yeah, he doesn't particularly want to be doing this, but he is.
So that's quite interesting, clever thing. Yeah.
And then the goosebump part really here now is when he leans out the window and he howls like an animal, and in the background you hear other old people howling back almost, and then there's fire all over the city.
Have you never been walking at night time through a park and heard the howl of the old person?
No. Oh, that's the lesser spotted grandma howling out there.
Absolutely. That's the blue-titted old lady over there.
Oh, blue-titted, she must be cold.
It's a fairly common occurrence. Not so much now. They've been dying out a bit.
But yeah, we get this shot. I think Rachel mentioned this in her message as well, where we see that the city is on fire, although there's chaos and there's old people howling, and then the voiceover says basically there was an incident. Nobody really knows truly what triggered it. And then we cut to the part you mentioned.
The family.
The family driving. So you
sorry
missed
about
that little chunk. That's all right. Missed that little chunk, but it's all good. So we got a mum driving along. She's separated from her partner now. He'll show up later on. And she's got her son and daughter with her. And they're called, I can't remember their names now. Doesn't matter. I'll come to that in a minute. Boy and girl, and they're driving along. It's a beautiful sunny day, and they're talking about their, we're going to this wedding. It's their auntie's wedding, so their mum's sister's wedding, and they start singing along to a song on the radio, the family song. They miss Dad. Is he dead? We're not quite sure. No, he's not dead. He's got himself a new woman, which we'll also meet awkwardly at this wedding as well later on. And yeah, we got beautiful shots again, the lighting, the farm, and she's like, oh yeah, we used to come here all the time, me and your dad, and then they talk about, is grandpa going to come? Is grandfather, will he be here? He's in the retirement home, and she says, well, he's very ill. I mean, we're not sure.
They didn't know, they weren't told. Apparently they weren't told.
Yeah.
that he's in the home. So she was a bit like, what the hell? What do you mean? And they said, he's a bit ill, so we had to put him in there. Oh.
Yeah, he's very, very ill.
Okay.
And what we find out later on is she hasn't actually been to visit him for a couple of years.
And unfortunately, again, as real life happens, people do that. They put their folks into the old people's home and go, brilliant, and just carry on doing their life and forgetting that they exist.
Awful.
Horrible, isn't it?
Well, the children obviously love their grandfather, and they sort of both proclaim, well, we hope he can make it to the wedding, you know. So that's that, really. Alex is a boy who arrives on a bike, and he is a childhood friend and sometimes lover of the daughter, Laura. And they kind of like wave through the window, and we know that they're going to go out on their bikes and even their speedboats later on, because he's so cool. He's got a speedboat, this kid. There's Noah, is the son. Sorry, that's his name. And he's got an inhaler, which gave me Signs vibes.
Okay.
Like the boy from Signs. Didn't really do a lot with that. It comes up a couple of times here and there, but it didn't play a big part in the story. But it's just nice to know that all these characters have got their little weaknesses and their little things going on. As I mentioned, then Laura goes out with her childhood friend / whatever he is, boyfriend, on his speedboat. I mean, every boy, has got a speedboat in Germany, I guess. Is that right? I don't know, guys. German listeners, let us know. If you own a speedboat and you take girls out on it, then you must be a rap star. And then the dad arrives.
Okay, I'm just going to look at my notes. See, now if you're rushing ahead of me.
Oh, I do apologise.
At the old people's home, very quickly, just going back a sec, there's a dude that mistakes a lady. And it's like, save me, thinking like she's someone else, and sort of just drops sort of dementia into it as well. And it does pretty much go through everything, which is not the nicer side of being old.
Yeah.
All these bits, really.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of this because Lucas, who we've just met now, who is the ex-partner of the mother, his new girlfriend, Kim, she miraculously works at the same old people's home that their grandfather is at. Yeah,
so the mum wanted a job in the city and the dad didn't. He wanted to stay in the country. So the mum went with the kids. That's what I've established.
And Lucas went off and got himself a new woman.
Well, yeah, because she's left, so yeah.
Yep. Well, Noah, the boy, is obviously really happy to see his dad. Ella is a little bit awkward about this, the mum. And Sana is the sister. She picks up on it. And she's like, there's just this tension between the two women, the old girlfriend, the old wife and the new girlfriend, which later on comes to quite a big conclusion, which is brilliant when it happens, and I did not see it coming at all. So yeah, they're all happy to see Daddy, although his ex-wife isn't quite as happy to see his new girlfriend, as is, you can imagine what that would be like.
Well, this is the thing, it's like they didn't break up for the fact one was cheating on the other or the one did something else. They broke up because one wanted just to have a career in a city and didn't want to sit in the country, and it was just one of those reasons. So very easier for them to sort of reconcile like their romance as such, because she does say later on, how can you love two people? And I actually said this to Sarah, I said, can you love two people? I've never realised that. I assume you can't. You can only love one person.
Yeah,
because if you say you love two people and you put them right up there, there's going to be one of those people you are going to prefer than the other.
I think you can love two people, but I think you'll always love one of them more.
Yeah. So really, I love you. I love loads of people, but actually, your significant other, as Del Boy would say, I think there could only be one.
There can be only one.
There can only be one romance in your life.
Oh,
that's what my life coach said to me when he's whipping me with a stick.
I was going more for the Highlander thing there, but that's fine.
Mine was some sort of barbarian sensei.
I love that. You come out with a sore arse every time, but you feel good about yourself. Well, Lucas, the dad, says, look, let's go and pick up your grandpa to bring to the wedding. Let's get in the car and drive. So they head off in the car, and as they're driving out of the village...
Grandpa's got some more new breakdancing moves he wants to display for the audience.
This doesn't really happen, guys. As they're driving out through the village, all the old people are stood around like some kind of Hammer film or something, really, where something's affected everybody, and they're all staring at them. And the boy actually says, why are the old people just stood there staring? And they're like, oh, they just don't ever really see many people around these parts.
No, I'm not oldest or anything, and I'm not going to be like dissing the old or nothing, but generally you can make an old person fairly creepy, like you can babies, actually. So, you know, old people, I think, a little bit easier, though.
Yeah, got no teeth. Well, actually, babies haven't got any teeth either.
No.
What was your point, though?
Fuck knows.
Just that old people are creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. So they arrive at the retirement home.
I'm going to fucking just be really creepy and just scare young children. Not in a weird pedo way.
Okay. Excellent.
Just noting that.
So they arrive at the old people home where Grandpa is, and it looks deserted. There's mess, there's food all over the floor. There's a creepy old lady lying in a bed as they're walking around. And then they get to this one room where all of the old people are gathered just in one room. Like they're having a weird meeting where they're sort of like, you know, like in Black Sheep, where all the sheep get together.
It's because they go along. Yeah, totally. And there isn't really any staff. That's the thing, like, you know, and you probably know it's a skeleton crew anyway. This is another unfortunate incident. It's like teachers. You can't always blame teachers sometimes because they've got so many kids and so little time to try and get through to everybody, and they only get paid a certain amount. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with these staff members. They only get paid a certain amount, and there's only so much money, and unfortunately it's always pushed hard. That way people get deprived, don't they?
Yeah, and I think this is the bit you mentioned earlier. So actually, we hadn't quite jumped ahead. This is the bit now. So Noah goes off wandering around because he really wants to find his grandpa, and he finds an old man in a bed who sort of says, "Save me."
He just look. There's a bit where he just turns in the corridor and he just looks, and the old guy's just looking at him, and they're just staring at each other a long time. You're like, get away from that old guy. Get away from that old guy. And he just kind of follows him, doesn't he?
And then he sees a nude old lady in the bath.
It's like shining all over again.
And the carer comes in, like, oh, what are you doing in here? And then they basically ask, where's Kim, which is Lucas's new girlfriend who works there. And she arrives. She takes, come to me, I'll take you to your grandfather. And they ask, you know, why the fuck have you got all the old people tied to the beds? She said, basically, we're understaffed.
Yeah.
Some of them get out and go wandering around the grounds and could hurt themselves. They could even just fall out of their bed. We just don't have the staff for it. It might seem cruel, but it's for their own good.
I know it comes up to one of those things though. Like, I don't know what they do if they were to go, okay, so let them all out. If they then have someone who does get injured, obviously this is a very cruel film. I'm not saying you should do that, but if you do have someone gets injured, then you've got to nurse that person more and more. So you know, it's a whole thing. Are you rustling for Christmas? Chocolate Christmas.
Sorry about that.
Christmas chocolate. There's a wedding outside, and the old folk look out the windows, and they're all just...
hang on. We haven't quite got there yet. Sorry. Okay. Do apologise. Noah, the boy, gets separated now, and this is where he comes across loads of...
stares at that, yeah.
Creepy, half-nude OAPs. But they do find Grandpa, so just before we get to the wedding, they do find Grandpa, but he doesn't recognise Noah.
Yeah.
The adults all catch up with Noah. Oh, here he is, but he's completely catatonic, grandfather. And Kim says, you know, that they're staring at you. The reason they're all staring at you is because they just don't see visitors because, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of these people have been here for years and their families have kind of just forgotten about them. So it's kind of really creepy, strange. It's almost like a supernatural retirement home where you just dump your oldies so you don't have to think about them anymore. We've got a really good creepy score that plays over the top of this. And then we quickly see Alex and Laura on the beach, and this is where he shows her, have you ever seen this monument? And she's like, what is it? And he says, oh, it's basically a monument that's to honour the ghosts of our ancestors. And he says, look, your parents carved their initials on it many years ago, but they're probably he says, but they're probably cursed now. She's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, because they broke up, so they'll be cursed. So I think the reason for this infection is because they had such true love and they wrote their names. They carved their names on this monument. That when they broke up, they caused this weird infection of the old people that's going to just rip the village apart.
But
now.
who broke up? The mum and dad?
Yeah, because they carved their names on the stone.
That's a fucking shit reason.
Well, I said that's what I think. Maybe
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying I think it's a shit reason.
Okay, fair enough.
There should have been some crazy thing going on, some fucking dodgy water drinking sort of situation or something. I don't know.
But they kiss, so that she's happy young lady with her boyfriend, and then we cut to. So it's not quite the wedding; it's like the pre-wedding. So in some countries they have like a pre-wedding thing. So this is like a pre-wedding day. So I think the wedding is supposed to be the next day.
Oh fucking hell! Pre-wedding, Jesus!
I know.
Just get on with it, for fuck's sake.
They're all there, having a great time, having a party, and all the old people are staring silently out of the window, listening, aren't they? They can hear the music blowing in the window.
The windows are open, and they're just listening to the music and stuff. And the orderly comes in and says, "What you're doing? Oh, you like the music, do you?" And I thought, oh, he's going to be an all right lad, and he's going to go. What we could do is I thought he was going to go. Tell you what, I'll get a record player, and we could bring a record player, and then you could listen to music. I thought it would sound like that. No, he just shuts the window and says, "Get back into bed."
He's basically like Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
You'll go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
Yeah.
He's going to get his comeuppance in a minute. While that's happening at the dance, we should mention that Lucas and his ex-wife Sana, they're kind of dancing together, and they might be rekindling their romance. We're not quite sure.
Yeah, totally. We do have like other stuff going on. So we've kind of established in this old people's home there's a lot of members of the old folk there, and not much staff. You're looking at, I'm at a guess, like 3.
Yeah.
And there seems to be an old lady buying an electric cable in one of the hallways somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is where basically they decide to launch their attack on the young. So whilst all that's going on upstairs, and the man's going, "Shut the windows, you old buggers."
This other orderly finds this lady.
Yeah, and she's like, "Who's down here?"
It's quite creepy, isn't it? And you're like, "Oh, don't bite the electric cable."
She sees her. She reminded me a little bit of the grandma from The Visit. Like really creepy. Yeah, she bites the electricity cable so that the power goes out in the whole old people's home.
Yeah, and then she bites the orderly. No, she doesn't, because she's the electric current. Or does she? Is it her?
I don't think she does, no.
Someone bites the orderly. Oh, it's the other orderly.
Yeah, the other porter.
Who's just shut the window upstairs.
He gets bitten.
Yeah, then they have a mass stabbing.
Well, yeah, then they all grab loads of broken glass when they smash the window.
City.
And he gets absolutely shredded by shards of broken glass.
He's having a mass shank off.
Yeah. And as this is all sort of happening, the girl gets stabbed up as well, by the way, because she comes in and she's like, "What's going on? Oh my God, I'm being stabbed as well."
Yeah, she gets hit, and she's trying to call the police and she gets hit.
And this is how understaffed they are. There's only 2 people running the whole old people's home that night, and they're both completely shanked.
Yeah.
And then a lovely thunderstorm comes in, and we know that means something bad's coming on.
But no, it's also sexy times.
Well, just before the sexy times, I can't wait to talk about this scene. Just before that, Grandpa sees the invitation that he got dropped off to him earlier for the wedding, because they took the invitation to him, but they never took him there. Oh no, sorry, it was Reinke, the leader of the old people. He sees the invitation to the wedding, so he thinks there'll be lots of young people at this wedding we can all go and kill. So he leads his army of the old elderly dead.
Did you do this subtitled, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I went back and watched about half an hour of it at the end. I watched the last half an hour again with the dub, and it was fine. But I prefer to watch things, if I can, subtitled. Yeah. So Reinke seems to be the leader, and we don't really know why, but he's the leader of the elderly, and he sees the wedding invitation. So cut back to the wedding. Everyone's leaving because the rain's coming in. Well, it's the wedding tomorrow, guys. So can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic. And this is where Kim and Lucas have a conversation, and Kim says, do you still love her? And he's like, what do you mean? No, of course I don't. Anyway, her sister, the bride and the groom, retire to the love nest, as he calls it, Gav. And he says, I've got something to show you in here. Now, you normally say this for the wedding night, but he's doing it all the night before. And they walk into this sort of farmhouse that's off the beaten track a little bit, still on the farm. And it's like a bit of a tree house / barn. And there's candles everywhere, there's music playing. And I put here, fucking fire hazard, because there's about 1,000 candles in this wooden structure.
And if you're getting jiggy, you're not going to notice.
No, you're not. You're going to think, man.
And if you do, what you could do is you could be like, fuck it. And just carry on.
Also, like the waft of wind as your butt is going up and down is going to potentially cause one of the flames to flicker.
No,
vigorous.
No, a bottom is curved. How is that going to? If your arse is really flat like a big fan, yeah, maybe you're going to get attraction enough to release air, which might actually knock over candles and set a fire. Maybe, but most bottoms are curved.
There's a lot of sheets, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But anyway,
how fast do you go? You're like a robot.
They start making love, Gav. They start making sweet pre-wedding love. But while they're doing that, somebody enters downstairs. Oh, hello.
So it's a threesome.
So it's Rinky, the old Wrinkly. Rinky the Wrinkly. And he hears the sexy music. And he pulls a bit of a Bruce Willis now. He looks at it and thinks, what can I go and kill them with? He picks up an axe. No, that's not good enough. I know what I'll use. A bed knob.
No, Sarah said he walked past the axe. Did he actually pick the axe up?
He sort of looked at it. I think he touched it.
Then he's like, no, I remember watching a Jackie Chan movie last night and I'm going to improvise with stuff around me.
Steven Seagal
goes out of his way to unscrew a bedpost.
And then take his shoes and socks off.
And then it's just like, what are you doing, man? Get on with it. And then he takes the post and puts it inside a sock and goes all
well, it's not a post, Gav. It's a bed knob, isn't it?
A bed knob. And he goes all scum on them, doesn't he?
Hang on. He puts his knob in a sock.
He does.
Let's do this right.
Knob's in his sock.
I've made notes on this bit. So he takes off his horrible socks and shoes and puts his knob in a sock.
Well, I thought he was going to possibly knock one out when he first turned up.
I did wonder what he was doing with
it's just like, is he going to knock one out?
I thought, why is he taking his shoes and socks off? Does he want to be quiet? As he tiptoes up the stairs? I don't know.
But he wants to show them who's the daddy, doesn't he, from Scum?
Yeah. Well, before we see what he does with his knob and a sock, we have a quick side scene of Kim and Lucas getting home.
Check out Scum for a fun Saturday night movie.
Kim and Lucas get home. They see an old man in the distance watching... And slowly they hear explosions and they see the village in the distance is on fire. So it is a bit 28 Days Later in that respect. But anyway, mid-shag, Malik and Sana are really going for it. And Malik, I think Sana looks up and she's like, oh, and there's an old man with his knob and a sock. And he brings it down. He beats his knob around Malik's head.
He brings the thunder.
And then he basically beats them both to death with his knob and a sock while they're in the middle of it. She manages to run a little bit, but he gets them both.
Yeah.
And then the rain comes in, the heavy rain. And Ella wakes up in the middle of the night. She's worried. The power's out. Laura, her daughter, isn't in her bed. And she finds her. She says, Mum, there's lots of people outside. What? She looks out the window. There's no one there. She says, honestly, I saw lots of old people outside. And then someone starts playing the piano downstairs. And they go downstairs and it's their grandfather. What the fuck's he doing here? We left him in the old people's home, whatever. And he's looking angry. But we realise he's trying to communicate with them through the notes on the piano. This is quite a unique moment, actually. They say he's trying to communicate. What's he trying to say? And he basically plays da 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 da. He might as well anyway, because he plays all the scary notes, doesn't he?
He's not known for speaking at all, right?
He doesn't really speak. No, not anymore. Okay. Not since they abandoned him in the old people's home years ago.
Yeah.
But he tries to tell them you're in danger, but only through the piano, basically.
Do you know, when we get old, we'll have little AI robots anyway as buddies. Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Dan, you have forgotten to take in your tablets today.
Yeah, it will be.
Please remember
and
to
they give us health
urinate.
checks. Oh, absolutely. It'd be really good, like give health checks. That's why our lifespan would be so much more.
Yeah. Happy 131 birthday, Dan. You have no friends and have outlived all of your family. Great.
I don't think reaching 100 is like a far stretch, you know.
No. The oldest woman in the world is about 130, I think.
Yeah. And technology and AI is just literally just opening up now to like what it can do. So
I'm just going to download my brain into an Alexa or something.
Do it.
And they'll be like, the kids will be like, Daddy, hi, what time is it? Is that what you fucking want from me? I've been dead 10 years. You want to know what time it is? It's 11 o'clock.
Daddy, you downstairs. Can you bring up my jumper?
No, because I'm an Alexa.
I'm an Alexa, I told you. Notification, you've got an Amazon package coming.
Yeah, your jumper will be arriving tomorrow. So back to Lucas and Kim out on the road, and they come across some burning cars. This is quite cool. A bit of production here. Some dead bodies. So he pulls his phone out to try and call the emergency services, but all the lines are busy, which is never a good sign during one of these sort of, you know, scenarios. He suddenly sees an old age pensioner running at them. That's scary. Get in your car and drive away, which is what they do.
Yeah.
Ella hears banging on the door. She opens it and there's no one there. And then she finds an old guy. Are you okay, Mr. Old Man? And then Laura sees another old person hiding in the bushes, which is creepy. The old people hiding in the bushes, they do very well in this. Very creepy. It's always the women as well. There's an old woman later on in a wedding dress. It's very creepy. And they start ripping pages. The old people start ripping pages from a book and handing them to Ella. And the book basically says something about I don't know what it says, to be honest with you. It doesn't really matter. But the creepy old lady in the bush is creeping around.
I tell you one thing we didn't mention: the new wife has her mouth puked into.
Does she?
Hmm.
I don't know if I remember that bit.
It's a bit of the new. Yeah, she's got a mouth. Well, I can't remember much more about that. Then falls down the stairs.
I mean, that's 2 episodes in a row now, because the last episode we talked about throwing up into the mouth of that little barn elf, didn't we?
Yeah. It's when the old guy is attacking them.
Oh yes, that's
he
right.
pukes into her mouth, and then he chucks the husband down the stairs or the woman down the stairs. Then he pulls her back up, and I was like, is he going to take her up to bed and finish her off? Do you know what I mean? Like finish her off.
By the way, I told Alice your harrowing story about that girl at school that weed on you and then blamed you.
Jane Moore.
She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it.
Bitch.
I think she said something like, "Girls are horrible."
Yeah, I was never really into girls for a very long time. I was a sad little boy. No, I wasn't. I was fine. But I was, I just didn't bother. I was just like, I don't know. Seems like a lot of hard work here.
They're going to be pissing on me all the time. I'm not into this.
Well, some people are into that thing, so it's fine for them. Not my sort of thing.
Well, look, there's a lot of creepy old people here, so they send Laura, the daughter, inside. Go inside, lock the doors, lock the windows. We'll deal with this. Ella goes over to the love nest to find her sister. She's like, Sana, are you in here? Sana.
Dead.
She finds them both dead and naked in bed. And she's got a sock in her mouth. He stuffed one of his socks right down her throat.
And then there's some humming, isn't there?
Oh, Jesus,
and it's
horrible.
Really good visual. It's an old lady wearing a wedding dress with a knife.
She's just going...
And
it's really horrible.
Yeah, she's not into it that much more. It's a shame that she's not one of the killers more.
She pops up a couple of times, but it's only a visual, really.
Yeah, but more than a sidekick.
Yeah, sidekick. The sidekick to Wrinkly the Winkly. So Rinky attacks. The mum jumps out the window. She's a bit of a badass. She runs back to the main house just as Lucas and Kim arrive. They all run inside, and they're basically looking for Noah or Grandpa. They can't find them anywhere. Ella grabs a gun. You've got a gun? Yeah, I got a fucking gun. So mum's a badass.
Plow, motherfuckers, is what she says in German, though.
Does she? Wow.
The plow is translated better in German.
Great.
Blah, blah. Well, that's more Italian.
For some reason, her and Lucas decide to go outside with the gun, and this is where they see dozens of old people. And she says to them, "Where's my boy?" They see the grandpa's there as well. And then someone breaks a window upstairs. Laura runs around to have a look for who it is. And this is where it's Attack of the Pensioners.
Yeah.
They just start crawling in through the windows.
And a big old fella's there, isn't he?
Big old fella?
Yeah, the main old guy.
Oh,
big old fella.
Wrinkly
the Winkley, yeah, the dirty pervert, big old fella.
Yeah, he's there. I think Kim says to them, "I'm your carer, goddammit. Don't hurt me."
She says, I've never hurt you, and gestures her over to where the sister is to go and hurt the older sister to go and hurt her.
Well, that's the first sign that something is afoot. That's the first sign, indeed.
A bit cheap.
Well, Lucas and Ella get back in the house.
Mum shoots one of them.
Yeah. Kim is okay, but Laura is being pretty nasty here, and Ella shoots a creepy crawler. I've written she's a creepy crawler, this old lady. Lucas beats another one of them with a poker, and they find Laura being attacked. Ella gets knocked out briefly. Lucas fights an old guy. Ella is awake now, and she brains the old guy. So there's a lot of old people getting smashed, getting their heads caved in here. If that's your bag, then you're in for lots of treats throughout this film.
Yeah.
And then they're looking for Noah. This is the goal, really. Where the hell is Noah? They keep asking, "Why are you doing this?" Ella stabs him and pulls the gun on him. This is where he says, "Am I a man or am I a beast to you?" And then he just says, "Kill me." But luckily, Noah shows up. He was hiding in the attic. "I'm here, Mum. It's all right.
Don't worry about it.
Grandpa showed me a good place to hide."
Yeah, but it's good. We know Grandpa still has a bit of sanity still in him, or not of the evilness, that's for sure.
Yeah, and while the family are bonding, so, they're all getting back together with Dad.
The excitement's got the asthma going, though, innit, for that kid.
It has. So they help him breathe as a family together, and they do that sort of helping. I think they might sing a little bit of their family song together, like in Signs. Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. There's little elements of that. But while that's all going on, Kim is very jealous because she's got her man, and he might be hooking back up with his ex here and their kids, and she's watching this really, really jealously. Not impressed at all about it. Then there's an old lady on the swing, humming again, just humming away on the swing. And there's just dozens of them trying to get inside the house. And Grandpa says, "I know where they are." So Grandpa breaks into the bedroom window to kill Noah with a hammer. Nice. But it's just a dream. This is hereditary now, this bit. Because they kind of lead you to believe that the young boy's going to get killed with a hammer. It turns out it was just a dream, just like in Hereditary, where his mum comes in to kill him. And it was just a dream. But they're all safe for now. But however, Kim now confronts Ella and says, "I'm jealous of you. You've got it all. And now you're trying to get my man off me. You're old, your ex-boyfriend. I'm really annoyed with you." And she basically opens the front door, hits Ella on the back of the head with a flashlight, drags her body outside, and basically says to the old people, "There you go. Finish her off.
Dinner time, bitches."
So, wow. This is a bit like the end sort of act now of 28 Days Later, where it's not so much the infection that you need to worry about, it's the other people who will do anything they can to protect themselves. But Ella wakes up outside. She tries to get back in. Luke sees the key. He runs out. Lucas runs out. This is another harsh bit. And he's like, "What's she doing outside? Why is the door locked?" And he turns around just as Kim swallows the key so that he can't get back to his ex-wife. And he's like, "You are crazy. Why have you done that?" And then we get this amazing scene now where it's mainly mute. They turn the sound right down. You don't hear much during all this commotion of them smashing the door open and Ella being dragged away. Laura sprays a fire extinguisher. Kim goes upstairs. She jumps out of a window to kill herself, lands on the floor, and then an old person just slits her throat. And then the sound comes back in at that moment. So there's like a good minute or so where there's just no sound other than a few little muted. Do you know that bit I'm talking about? It was really just an interesting choice, really. So Ella and the kids retreat. Lucas is still alive, just about.
Have you had the bit with all the old people putting their arms in, just like a zombie movie, basically?
Yeah, it's brilliant coming in the door. Or just sort of,
it's very zombie. Yeah.
This could have been. It's obviously homaging Romero in some ways, definitely. And Romero did definitely have thoughts on the way the elderly are treated. You can feel that in some of his movies and stuff. But yeah, then we get the old OAP's batter the door down. The bride unties Rinky, who, by the way, they've tied him to the oven earlier.
Yeah.
They didn't kill him though. And then they set the house on fire. They set the door on fire. And then luckily, Noah says, "Hey, don't worry, guys. There's a tunnel under the house that I know about when I was a kid." And they're like, "That's fucking lucky, Noah. Let's get out of here then." So they all go down the tunnel. They're being chased by all these OAP zombies. It's very wet and muddy in this tunnel, isn't it, Gab? It's a dark and wet, muddy tunnel.
Oh, we like a dark, wet, muddy tunnel, don't we?
Ella, though, gets dragged away screaming. That's bye-bye, mummy. So the kids manage to escape by climbing out of up a ladder and out of a trap door, and it's daylight.
Yeah, they're really in shock, barely breathing,
And the phone rings. So, it doesn't ring, like the signal comes back on, and she's got like 1,000 notifications, loads of
state of emergency, as new flash state of emergency at the old folk home.
And we realise it's nationwide. It's taken over the whole of Germany, possibly the whole of Europe. She manages to phone Alex, her boyfriend, and he says, "Well, let's meet near the monument I showed you earlier." And then just when we think it's all over, there's Grandpa there. Outside, and Rimkey's there as well. He punches a little girl in the face, and he's just about to slit her throat.
Yeah.
And it's a really heartbreaking moment. She says to her little brother, "Don't watch this bit. Just look away. He's going to kill me now. Tell you what, I'll sing for you as I die." And she sings her little song that they all sang as a family.
Yeah.
And that somehow twigs Grandpa out of it.
But because the memory is there's going to be certain things, especially songs, music stuff you like or something, it's really could get into people. I'm sure there must be people in comas that have music played so much or something their favourite songs must trigger something.
If you watch I've seen loads of YouTube videos about dementia where people will not speak for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then you'll play a song from their youth and they'll sing all the words to it.
Yeah.
They remember all the words to that song and they'll be singing along. So yeah, you're definitely right, and if this old grandpa's got some kind of dementia along with this demonic curse,
but this is kind of pulling him back to reality again.
Yeah. And he kills Rinky with the gun. And he seems okay. He says, "I love you both so much." We pan across to just the whole country on fire, basically. And then we cut to the epilogue, really, of the voiceover, which is this is happening all over the world. Alex arrives with his speedboat, and she says what we need to do is to learn to love and trust each other again. And Alex sort of decides he doesn't want Grandpa to get on his boat because he's an old person. But then he thinks, "Do you know what? I'll love and trust you. Get on the boat, Grandpa."
Well, it's obviously the trust factor is he could still go, there's that sort of thing going on. Did you just look for a chocolate and I want one there?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I
thought you were having chocolate disappointment live.
No, I've got lots of chocolate.
I just want to let them good commentary what you're visually doing. Right now he's wanking. Look at that.
But they sail off into the storm, basically implying that although they've escaped this, the whole world is going through this right now, and they're just getting into the storm, really. And that's the end. So before we wrap up, really, I think what I wanted to say, really, like I said earlier, is two things I get from this film, which is that, number one, it's talking about the fear that the young people have of growing old, dying, their mortality, and even of old people. Because some people are afraid of the old. You know, I remember when my last grandparent was still alive, I was sometimes afraid to go around and visit her, even though I was in my 20s, because I didn't want to see her in that way.
Yeah, I guess I
feel
quite
bad
funny.
for that.
My dad's getting on a bit now. What he must be my mid-80s, and I should know. Sorry, I forget numbers. I'm really crap like that.
How old is he?
Something like that. Might be 86 actually, and you know, but he's strong as an ox.
Yeah,
and it's just not what I remember as a kid. 80-year-olds like, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. But the other thing this movie's also saying, I think, then is this is like the extreme, much like The Substance was like taking it to the extreme with what people will do for cosmetic surgery and body modifications. This is also like, imagine if old people could do the things that, if we could just take back the youth and show them how angry we are about being abandoned, and you know. But my last thought is, overall, this is a slow but very creepy, very original, and incredibly well shot and produced German film.
Yeah.
What did you think of it, though, Gav?
I do like the films that have their sort of let you think about it a little bit, I think, and especially as versatile as this, any age, you could be any age and think about old age, you know, it's all, you know. So it's an interesting one. I don't have it as a fear myself, but I enjoyed the film. I thought it was well made. Like you said, it's a well produced film. There's nothing wrong with it at all, really. If I will recommend it if you are looking for, you know what you're going to watch. If you want a movie with old people that are going to be a bit creepy, and there's a family kind of stuck, and there's a situation, there's a bit of rain and thunder, yeah, I'll recommend it. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking for something totally different, then that's probably not the film you want to watch. But I'll definitely recommend it. I thought it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that Romero home invasion type thing going on, in that they're trapped on a farm and there's a lot of old people coming to get them instead of zombies or aliens or whatever it might be. I've never heard of it. It was very original. Like I said, the winning thing for me is it just looks beautiful throughout, really. And if anything, you've got to watch it to see Wrinkly put his knob in a sock and beat someone to death with it. Bed knob, I should say, but he still puts a knob in a sock and beats 2 people to death with it.
Brilliant.
But it's a thumbs up from me anyway, this one.
Yeah, thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But now, Gav.
Oh, is that my old helmet?
Yep. I've got it all out of the shed, the time machine. So, like I say, to any of our listeners that don't know, it's
smells
time
funny.
for us to get the time machine in just a moment. Well, I've cleaned it up as much as I can. Unfortunately, there was a family of, I don't really know what type of animal it was because they were dead.
What, living in it?
They were living in it, but they must have died a few months ago because there was just a big pile of mush in the corner.
Oh.
So, yeah, I've cleaned that up as much as I can. You know,
but
yeah, so all nice and shiny. Yeah, do you want to get in?
Yeah, do you want to touch my helmet?
Yeah, let me just. That seems to be on all right.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Let's just adjust this a little bit.
Oh, that's a strange sound your strap for the helmet makes when attaching itself.
Right, so there are 2 seats in this one, so we can sit next to each other, unless you want to sit on my lap. But
I don't need to, because it's a bit weird though if there is actually 2 seats.
That's fine then. I just like to give
what
the
if someone looks in the window?
Well, they'd be hard to, because we're about to go into the time tunnel. So if you're ready, Gav, if you're strapped in, if you just want to press that button there for me.
Yep.
Yeah, and now that one over there.
Yep.
You ready?
Go for it.
Whoa! What's this machine? This is my time machine.
Your time machine?
Yeah. For the next 5 minutes, we are going to be the Time Team.
The Time Team! Whoa!
What's this? Look at that!
Look at that!
Oh, he's been dead 100 years. Look at that!
Look at that, it's the Statue of Liberty coming out of the sand.
Oh, there's a dinosaur!
Oh my god, look at that! It's something else.
Wow, here we are. 1 year ago.
That was I never, it never gets easier.
No, it gets harder.
Going through the portals of time is always giving me an upset dicky tummy.
Gives you an upset dicky.
Upset
tummy.
Dicky tummy.
Yeah, so, wow, what a year 2024 was.
Rub my tummy.
Not now, when we get back to 2025. Now, what we'll do is then, guys, listeners, what we usually do is we just have a quick roundup of the year. What was going on in the news, things to note, and then we talk more about what films were out, and then we sort of end with the horror films that came out for that year. So this is 2024, last year. So we've travelled all the way back here to tell this. We could have just Googled it, I guess, Gav, actually thinking about it.
Good done.
Oh well. So this year, well, I'll start with January. Jeffrey Epstein's associates were revealed in court documents.
But the public didn't know. No.
We don't know. No, we don't know.
It's ridiculous.
No.
Ridiculous.
But speculation of people like Stephen Hawking, Michael Jackson,
why these
Prince
people,
Andrew.
What, just there is such ridiculous. Do you know what I hate about everything? Of all the elite people and all this stuff and all these things and all these people do stuff. But don't bother. Just have a nice day. Wake up in the morning, have some eggs on toast or something like that, egg and bacon or something. Have a nice day. Go. What am I going to do today? I'm going to go for a swim. So I like going for a swim. Then I'm going to drive that nice car I've got and do. Why bother being like, right, today, how could I destroy the world of humanity slowly? Let's do this. Why? There's no point.
I forgot how passionate you get when we go back in time and talk about things that we can't control anymore.
No, I know, just the elite.
Yeah. Well, there were some cool things that happened. We discovered an ancient lost city in Ecuador that was about 2,500 years old. Suggests the presence of a very, very large society, maybe even larger than the Aztecs. So that was quite cool. So they're starting to dig through that now.
Yeah, it's great. We are like recently we had those new longest dinosaur path of tracked dinosaurs, and there's literally some other dinosaur gone over the other way. There's like an X, like her footprints. It's crossed over after this one's crossed over. Its footprints has crossed over, and then those footprints have been like kept for millions of years. It's like, what the fuck?
I know, it's so cool to see a dinosaur.
So we're discovering like new shit all the time now, and with AI. Sorry, I know I bring up AI, but with that advent and just the way technology can discover and identify things, it's going to be amazing. We're going to discover some crazy shit.
It is.
The other night, sorry, very quickly, tangent. The other night I was going to bed and I was getting some deep shit with AI. I was asking ChatGPT, will AI be able to give us real evidence of Jesus' existence? And that's not on I'm just not on anything. I was just doing this as a weird question. And I'd only just kind of got on it and I was going back and forwards and I was getting kind of deep with it. Then it just said, that you've run out of free ChatGPT. Because I don't have the main one. But that doesn't normally happen to me when I'm on there. I'm on there for ages, going back and forth, asking questions about screenplay writing. I've got a load of different things written up. And then this one, I was only just asked about this, that it's like, shut me down and I couldn't do any more. And it's because I was asking about, like,
Jesus.
It was really weird. I don't know why I shut down so quickly, but maybe that's just me. I don't know, conspiracy in it, conspiring it, whatever.
Well, our King Charles was diagnosed with cancer in February. He's recovering as we speak, as we record this, in the year 2025. But obviously, currently, we're back in time. Believe it or not, Greece only just legalised same-sex marriage in 2024. Isn't that crazy? Well done, Greece.
We now have tape cassette.
The Odysseus became the first private spacecraft to land on the moon.
Oh.
Private. Next it'll be like, where do you want to go on holiday? The moon? Yeah, why not?
What a waste of money and time.
I was thinking that the other day, with all these fires going on in LA, and then you've got the rocket that's been is it Bezos's rocket? It's like, dude, pull the plug on that and pump all your money into helping put these fires out. But instead, you just want to go up into space with your friends.
Yeah.
Come on.
It is absolutely a simulation because it's too ridiculous to not be.
Yeah. Must be a simulation, you're right.
Absolutely.
Taylor Swift became the world's first musician to become a billionaire just from songs and concerts.
Yeah, she's
rich lady.
She has a very business sense crew behind her. That's for sure. She has a tour. She has a whole tour bus which is just filled with merchandise. She has like a fleet of tour buses.
Just t-shirts and bracelets with her, isn't it?
Fuck knows. I don't know nothing. Okay. I probably know a song of hers. Maybe.
Yeah, you'd know a song or two of hers.
Sing me a song.
Don't know. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
I think that's her.
Shake it off.
Is that her? I might be wrong.
That's all I know. That's it. That's all I could tell of her back discography. Back catalogue.
But New York and New Jersey were struck by the strongest earthquake in over 100 years. 4.8 magnitude earthquake was felt across New Jersey and the New York metropolitan area. Nature fights back. Dua Lipa. Have you heard of her, Gav?
Yeah, some reason, yeah.
She's a singer. She's up there. She's not quite a Taylor Swift or a Beyonce, but she's up there.
I love being in this sort of old man territory now, where I'm just kind of like blocked off from anything, and I just ignore the world, apart from watching old reruns of 90s British sitcoms.
Well, she was voted one of the top 100 most influential people by Time magazine.
Cool, good for her.
So that's good, isn't it?
Brilliant. I'm glad she's having a great day.
Great day for her.
Excellent.
Yeah. OpenAI's newest version of ChatGPT, which is called GPT-4 Omni, went live in May last year, or 2024. Boasts unprecedented capabilities, including enhanced contextual understanding, multilingual proficiency, making it a significant milestone in AI development. Apparently, 2025 is the year that AI gets more intelligent than us.
Yeah, I think it's already there.
Oh, good. Lovely. Well, that's lovely to know, isn't it?
Like Keir Starmer, which, if you don't know, is Prime Minister of England currently. He's did a thing on news just yesterday, saying a speech about AI, how he's implementing it into everything, and how families, everybody should use AI like constantly, all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been using it quite a while. I don't use it daily, but it's going to help in a lot of ways, you know.
My wife uses it daily at work. I use it now and again at work. It's not as integral to my job right now, but my new job might be. There is some news that happened in May, which is going to really contrast to something that happens at the end of the year. In May, Donald Trump was found guilty of 34 felony counts of falsified business documents. However, jumping to the end of 2024, he would have been acquitted of all of those and also be elected new president starting in 2025. So that's weird. Yeah. No corruption there then. Bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, that's weird. I think that's weird. Donald Trump is a fucking joke. Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, finally free after a 14-year legal battle. So he spent the last 5 years in a high-profile London prison. So yeah, Julian Assange walked free after all of that, after leaking all of that information. Trump was back in the news in July.
Oh yeah.
Someone tried to assassinate him.
And this is what turned Elon Musk onto him. He thought if he could just do that, he is the person you need to as a leader. That's what he said.
And there is conspiracy that this wasn't a real assassination attempt. Someone was paid.
There's a conspiracy for everything that happens now.
There's a conspiracy that you were going to say that.
There's a conspiracy that there's a conspiracy that there's a conspiracy.
I've heard there's a conspiracy about that.
No, that's not. That's a conspiracy.
Now, only a week after Trump was shot in the ear, Joe Biden fucked up a lot. He called.
Oh, is that Vladimir? No, when he said Putin, didn't he?
Yeah,
did
he
say,
did. He got a few bits and bobs wrong, and eventually decided, you know what? I'm just going to pass everything over to Kamala Harris.
Yeah, we're not a political podcast, but oh dear.
No, that whole Putin thing was awful.
It's just the fact that it'd be like, hang on, surely you want people in their 40s probably leading the country. Like, would you not want something 50s, like that? 50s, I suppose you've got enough time, you've had enough experience to work your way up and know stuff.
I think 50s.
But still young enough and vibrant and energetic enough to go, right, this is what we need to fucking do. Let's look around at where we are, rather than old Pete. It's so weird that that's the choice. At least don't
call Zelensky by his enemy's name in front of the whole world.
Just so weird.
Whole world.
I don't understand why they have younger people.
So old Kamala, she got past the torch and she had a few months to do what she could.
Surely that's some sort of form of corruption. The fact that they won't change it, or it's not changed.
Yeah. But don't worry, Gav, because in July, Snoop Dogg was happy.
Obama wasn't too old, was he? He was, what was he, like
he was one
60s?
of the two youngest. He was in his 50s, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
He was one of the two youngest. I think
so
JFK and him. I suppose,
but that should be sort of, I don't know why you get to. It must be like we're driving. Like, no, you can't drive now. You're just hitting all them cars' mirrors as you go along because you have no idea the size of your car anymore. You know.
I know, and him and Trump are both ancient. But don't worry, Gav.
Trump does mentally seem to be, well, I don't know, depending on his choices, but he does seem to be at least competent. It's not like getting people's names wrong.
He's not competent.
Well, yeah, I'm saying
Gav,
like
he said live on air, could we inject?
I'm not saying his choices. I'm saying just that he can speak.
He made fun of a disabled man live on air.
Didn't he?
He's done a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
He told everybody to beat somebody up.
He's like
at one of his rallies.
A bit more of a stand-up comedian, really, isn't he?
Listen, though. In July, Snoop was happy. The whole world was happy because Snoop was so happy in Paris.
Olympics, yeah.
He was at the Olympics. He was at all the events and all the gear. He went to the volleyball. He went to the equestrian. He was just having a great time in Paris. I never thought I'd see so much footage of Snoop Dogg at an Olympics event.
Yeah,
but it was there.
Yeah,
and he absolutely loved it. He even got to carry the torch for a little bit. Not saying what he used the flame for, but
smoke weed every day.
Imagine he did that. So there we go. What else happened? We also got a storm Boris hitting Central Europe. Good old storm Boris.
Yeah.
Caused lots of flooding and terrible destruction across Europe. Norway became the first country in the world where electric cars outnumbered petrol cars. Norway.
No way, dude.
Sad times in September of 2024 as the brand Tupperware went out of business.
Oh.
They've been running for 80 years.
Fuck me.
But the problem is, Gav, is that Tupperware, they actually made such a good product
that anyone can make it.
You don't. No. You don't need to buy it again. Once you've got some Tupperware, you don't need to buy more from Tupperware.
That's why after some point in the 80s, the hi-fi manufacturers went, shit, we're making too good. Start making stuff it breaks in a year.
Mexico got their first female president. The world's longest treasure hunt ended after 31 years. In this year, 31-year treasure hunt for France's famed golden owl finally ended with the discovery of the owl. The hunt began in 1993 when, this sounds like a movie, when Max Valentine...
Hi, I'm Valentine. Max Valentine.
Published the book containing 11 clues leading to the location of the golden owl, which he buried somewhere in France.
Did he?
The finder of the owl won a sculptured golden owl.
That is cool. That is a movie. There's a dude who's just like, right.
Max Valentine.
It's like this really fucking just eclectic and eccentric fucking guy who's just like, right, I've got this golden thing. Fuck it. I'm going to write a book, publish the book, and in that book's going to be the clues to where it's buried. That is so good.
That's like a Dan Brown movie.
That's a movie. No, it's more fun than that.
It's more National Treasure.
Yeah. But I think you could do it more fun, actually. More like Mouse Hunt, is it?
No, you mean...
Mousetrap?
No, the one where they run around the world.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And that's a kind of a comedy type one.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was re-elected as President of the United States.
Lots of Trump going on.
Beyonce received her 99th Grammy nomination. She still hasn't won one.
There's so many things about Beyonce where they say, like, obviously conspiracies, where they say, like, there's a thing where everyone has to, because of the power of the couple of Jay-Z, she has to, like at Oscar, she has to have a song. Everybody has to go, oh yes. I don't know why, but like there's some really weird shit going on with Beyonce.
Yeah, well, no, it's
strange. It's not really about her. It's about her as an object for others, and she has to. It's weird.
It's, without getting into it too much, it's to do with her, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, and a few of the others that run this strange devil-worshipping
network
contingent.
It sounds weird, and I always thought the devil worshiping stuff is obviously a load of bullshit. And then you're like, oh, there is an island where paedophiles go. Celebrities.
Sadly, there is actually some sacrifice.
It's really weird, yeah.
And it's why they're trying to keep it out of the public eye for now, as long as they can, because it's quite disturbing, some of the stuff that I've read, some of the things I've heard. But yeah. Talking of corruption, Gav, in December, President Biden said to his son, Hunter, don't worry, you're pardoned for any crimes that you've committed over the last 10 years.
Yeah, he just pardoned shit ton of people who have probably given him a handout.
I'm about to stop being president next month,
How
so
much
what I'll
can
do
you
is...
pay me for a pardon?
And Google unveiled, you'll like this...
Hang on. Why should a president pardon people?
Well, it's normally...
Presumably that was set up for people who are... Where you look at it and go, hang on, the system has fucked up here and failed, which is quite
That's what it should be for.
And it's straight away like, hang on, you're giving it to people who can start being corruptive with it and just do it for bad reasons. It's the whole system's fucking rigged, isn't it? The whole human system is rigged by cunts.
It's because he's about to stop being the bit boss of America, so it's like...
bollocks, everything. Anything to do with money is bollocks. When people realise
that is the quote, guys.
Yeah, when
anything
people
to do
understand,
with money is bollocks.
Even if you got a Lamborghini or a fucking piece of shit car, they both get you to the place you need to go to.
Yeah, but you look cool in a
I
Lamborghini.
know, and it's like, but it's nice to drive them. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but at the same time, at the end of the day, come on, it's bollocks.
I was watching something with Kevin Hart earlier, and there was this conversation in it about a watch called a Rolex Submariner. And they're very expensive. And I thought, I wonder how much they are. And I looked them up.
It's a watch.
$140,000 watch.
It doesn't slow time. Doesn't stop time.
Well, talking of slowing time, Gav, in December, Google unveiled the quantum chip.
How much was that watch? Or didn't pay attention to you?
140k.
Yeah.
So Google unveiled a quantum chip in December that completes 33.3 trillion years of calculations in half a second,
it's
in a nanosecond.
Clever, isn't it? Yes.
It's called Willow, the new chip, and it's one of the largest technological breakthroughs of 2024. People are actually saying that it breaks the dimensional barrier because it can basically do. Now, you wouldn't probably remember this, but in one of the Marvel films, Doctor Strange looks at every single level of the multiverse at once to find out what's the best outcome for Iron Man.
Oh, cool.
And this is what this does. This will basically cycle through, as I've said, 33.3 trillion years worth of calculations in less than a nanosecond and tell you the best outcome or the best answer. This is scary stuff.
Combined with AI.
Scary stuff. Absolutely scary stuff.
Yeah, hope the world's ready for it.
Well, let's hope so. And that's stuff that happened other than Carl Weathers passed away. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. But now, let's move away from just the general pop stuff and let's talk about films and what was out. Films that were sort of the biggest films of the year. We'll talk about general films initially. So the film of the year was Inside Out 2.
Yeah, I watched it.
Is it good?
Yeah. Have you seen the first one?
I like the first one. I haven't seen the second one yet.
Second one is when she's a teenager.
Yeah, and I understand it's very good for people that watched the first one and are a bit older and sort of relate to.
Yeah, it's aimed
anxiety.
Yeah, it probably would work with the people who watched the first one like that and went to that. Yeah.
So that was the number one highest grossing film of 2024. Number 2 was Deadpool and Wolverine,
which I saw recently and enjoyed.
Yeah, it's really good. Number 3 was Wicked,
which you watched recently and enjoyed. You did.
And number 4 was Moana 2, which I went to watch with my kids at Christmas in the cinema.
Oh, I've not seen that one.
Then Despicable Me 4, weirdly.
I rented that out for Elijah recently. We both enjoyed it.
Then Beetlejuice. No, got anything to say on that? No. Okay, but I really enjoyed it. Then June Part 2. Then Twisters, the sequel to Twister. Then number 9 was Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Yeah, I saw that one. It's all right.
And then another animated film in at number 10, Kung Fu Panda 4.
Oh, I watched it literally 2 days ago.
You've seen a lot of the top 10
ago. I was like to Charlie, I was like, that's my eldest who's 18 in a few months. I was like, do you want to watch Kung Fu Panda 4? Because I looked up the first one and they happened to be 1. And I was like, we used to go to the cinema when you were little. And so we watched it. And it's funny, is my other kids weren't really bothered. Elijah came in a little while halfway through. It's nice that Kung Fu Panda's dad is still voiced by Big
Jackie
Trouble in
Chan?
Little China.
Oh, I thought it was Jackie Chan. He does one of the voices, isn't it?
Guy, which is kind of cool. Lopan.
So the interesting thing about the top 10 is only one film, Wicked, is the only film that's not a sequel.
Yeah.
And most of them are animated. And then just a few other ones off the top. Bad Boys, Ride or Die, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Gladiator 2, Venom 3, Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire, completely forgot that was out, Alien Romulus, which we both really enjoyed, Red 1, the Christmas movie, which I really enjoyed, I watched over Christmas.
I didn't get around to watching that.
The Fall Guy, Wonka, Nosferatu, some of these, The Beekeeper, which I know you're a big fan of, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, so a weird year for films, lots of sequels, but let's get into horror, Gav.
I think they're doing a second Beekeeper too.
They are indeed. I've read about that today, actually. Because there's a trailer, guys, for a new film with Jason called Working Man, where, get this is an original plot. He plays an ex-Marine.
Who's someone who he's connected to, who he likes and he's nice with and he's not horrible with, he has a good old laugh with, is picked on for whatever reason. And he's like, right, I'm not having that.
Well, his boss's daughter is kidnapped.
Okay.
And he's like, well, it's all right.
But it's like, I will watch that 100% and sit there going, yes. Because it's the movie, like, I like those movies. You know what you're getting. I look forward to when we do Taken at some point.
I love Statham so much.
Yeah, I love those films.
So here's just, before we get into like the real top ones of the year.
Very quickly though, The Beekeeper, if you haven't seen it, it's really these movies, it's like revenge films in a way, but it's like when you get a guy and he's getting back at the bad people, and you're like, yeah, Beekeeper is the best though. It's a internet scam place, and I'm gonna spoil. It's not really spoiled too much. It's a catalyst for what happens. He pretty much just turns up with a load of fucking tanks of fuel. Just to take, and you're just like, yeah, get those scammers. They're, because they're stitching all these like families out of lots and lots of money, and he just goes there and takes care of business, and you're like, yeah, get him, Jason Statham.
And I don't mean this in a derogatory way at all, but Jason Statham has really filled that void that Chuck Norris, Van Damme, Seagal left.
He's doing that thing still, absolutely.
Because you used to get a Van Damme movie where every movie was just Van Damme doing what Van Damme does, but in a slightly different plot, and that's the same with Statham. Seagal used to do it. Chuck Norris.
That's why I think he's welcomed into the Expendables crew, because he was like, he's like new blood sort of thing. Even though he's not now, but he's not really old, but he's still kicking ass and doing those movies, and I love those films.
And he makes the bald man look fantastic.
Well, it's the Bruce Willis thing, isn't it?
When my hair gives up the ghost eventually, and I reckon I've got another 5 years, so maybe when I'm in my early 50s, I'll go full Statham.
I know I'm growing my hair again now because I finished filming Amanda. So, yeah. See what happens.
Me and you will be full Statham one day. Well, look, here's some of the movies that you should have watched, horror movies you should have watched in 2024. You've got Abigail.
Yeah, not bad.
I loved it. Long Legs. I'm not sure what I think of it. It just creeped me out.
Yeah.
Quiet Place, day one. Did you see that?
It was on telly. My eldest was watching it. Charlie was watching it the other day, and I kind of watched a bit. Not really. I don't really care for them. It's not interesting.
Salem's Lot, the remake.
I didn't see it.
I've heard it's quite good. Heretic, which you did see.
Yeah, which starts off pretty good, but I felt,
Immaculate, which I've heard great things about.
Don't know.
Sting, I really enjoyed Sting, the Spider movie, set at Christmas. Well, set during the snow.
I don't think I saw it.
The Pope's Exorcist.
Not seen it.
Which hits Netflix next week, Gav. Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
Finally, Boz, rest in peace. His recommendation I can watch. It's the last movie. Last one.
I remember him talking to you about that.
Yeah, he recommended that to me, and I was like, "I'll watch that." So, Boz isn't going to watch it.
He would have watched that at Fright Fest, I should imagine. Them.
I don't know.
Smile 2. I wasn't a big fan of the first one, so I probably will check out the second one. In a Violent Nature, I did like it. I just wanted more from it. Have you not seen it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. The POV movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh God, I had to watch that shit.
Oh really? Was it any good?
No.
Okay.
No. Do not watch. Do not watch.
The First Omen.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was all right, actually, wasn't it?
Hands out vaginas.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Maxine, the third and final film in the Pearl trilogy. I haven't seen that one. I really liked the other two. I haven't seen Maxine yet.
Only seen X.
Alien Romulus. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
The Strangers, Chapter 1.
I didn't watch it.
And I probably won't. Although I've heard it's all right. Apartment 7A.
Oh.
There we go. Under Paris. We both enjoyed that, didn't we? Sharks.
It's just silly, but yeah, what do you expect?
Sharks Under Paris. Good stuff. Imaginary. I've heard it's absolutely terrible about the teddy bear that's got a mind of its own. And talking of absolutely terrible, The Crow was probably the biggest bomb of the year, horror-wise. Everybody hated that film before it even came out.
Well, that was just going to happen. It's a bit weird that it still kept going ahead eventually. It was always trying to be pushed through, and it went through so many people, and it's like, weird. Just don't bother.
Winnie the Pooh 2, Blood and Honey.
At least not Winnie the Pooh, blood in your poo.
If you are experiencing
go see a doctor.
Blood in your stools, then contact Winnie the Pooh. A movie that everyone is absolutely raving about, and I'm not a big fan. I've only seen the first one, Terrifier 3. The first one I didn't think much of. Maybe I should go back and revisit it and maybe watch then 2 and then 3. But 3 was like, everyone's been going crazy about it. Did you see it? Do you like the Terrifier movies?
I don't really like clowns movies, do I? So I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, stop clowning around.
I did say, Sarah, I hope she don't mind me saying this, did say that, it said, if you're doing like a role play, it's like a laugh
thing. God.
Not a sexual, just like a laugh thing. What? She went, I kind of like the look of Art the Clown. I was like, okay.
Wow, Sarah.
She's now messaging me. Why did you say that?
We also got VHS Beyond. We got Hellhole, the opposite of a glory hole. Hellhole.
Depending what your kink is.
I guess. And
How? So we're saying could be like sandpaper, could be barbed
cheese
wire,
grater.
could be cheese grater, metal cheese grater, cock-shaped cheese grater.
We got Trap. Shyamalan was back with Trap.
I heard very, very, very bad things.
I've heard good things about it, which is strange. So
I
don't know. I guess we'll just have to
I
check
read
it out.
very bad things from it. Very, pretty much across the board. So I don't know where you get your news.
Night Swim was another one that people were talking about.
Haunted swimming pool.
But what we'll do now is we'll just go to good old Rotten Tomatoes just to sum up what the sort of top 15, what they say are the top 15 horror movies of the year were. Okay. So number one, I haven't mentioned it yet actually. The number one rated horror movie of 2024, according to Rotten Tomatoes, is Late Night with the Devil, which I have seen and I did really enjoy. We'll be covering that at some point, I should imagine.
Yeah, good film.
And then we've got Nosferatu in it, just behind it there, which you're not a big fan of, but it's there. Infested, which I've heard good things about. Haven't checked out. Have you seen Infested?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Heretic is really high up on their list as well, as is Stop Motion.
Picked it up on Blu-ray in a charity shop the other day for £1.
What?
Oh, £1.50.
Wow.
Well, I've not seen it yet.
Very highly rated by the Rotten Tomatoes, and I just want to talk about...
The director actually was in Farnham recently doing a talk. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Well, we weren't going to do a review of 2024 without me talking about this. The Substance is number 12 highest rated horror movie by Rotten Tomatoes. Substance, for anyone that hasn't seen it, is, in my opinion, and I'm going to stick to this, the best horror film of the century, in other words, of the last 25 years. Honestly cannot think of a horror film that I've enjoyed more than The Substance since the 90s. Obviously, in the 90s, we had Scream, Blair Witch, and a couple of other bits. It's a game changer, in my opinion. It's rekindled my love of horror, and particularly body horror and special effects. It made me feel like I used to feel when I used to rent out films or buy films that I hadn't ever seen but heard of, And I think every now and again in horror, particularly, a film comes along like, maybe Black Christmas or then Halloween or The Exorcist or The Blair Witch Project or Scream. And these films are game changers because, although they're doing what has kind of been done before, they've done it in such a strange way or make such an impact. And I think The Substance is one of those that people will look back at in time and say, that film shouldn't have come out in 2024. That was like a 1984 film. It had no right coming out in 2024.
That was great.
Absolutely love it. That's my film of the year. I haven't seen a lot of the horror films that we talked about.
That'd be my film of the year.
But it's also my best horror film of the last 25 years. Speak No Evil was another one that people talked a lot about with James McAvoy.
It was all right. I saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, I know there's an original, which I don't think I've seen.
It's quite nice. When you reel off lists of movies, it's quite nice because at least over 50% of them I see in the cinema, which is pretty good, actually. I'm quite proud of myself.
You're doing well.
Not for sponsoring cinema, just for the fact I'm getting out to watch them in the cinema.
I think it might be the last film I saw in the cinema was The Substance, actually, and nice. I now own it. But there we go. That was horror in a nutshell. I think if you were going to grab a handful of horror films from the year, then I'd probably say, weirdly, obviously The Substance, but I'd also say grab a hold of maybe Longlegs as well. That came out in like early 2024, so it could even be classed as a 2023, but it was sort of early 2024. If you just want something different to watch. And I'm actually going to grab Terrifier 3 just because I've never seen it and everyone's been raving about it, and I haven't even seen Terrifier 2. So those are the ones I'm going to take back in the time machine with me, Gav.
I'll just borrow your copy of The Substance then.
All right, I'll let you have that then.
All right. Let's do it.
All right, so there you go, guys. 2024. Gav, get back in here.
Oh, my seat's still warm. Strange.
That's not your seat.
Whose is it?
That's the... Don't worry about it. I'll explain it to you in the time tunnel. Right, are you ready?
Yeah, okay.
Steady?
Strapped in.
Have you seen the group chat? You're doing it again tonight? No. Please. It's my mom's Remembrance Day. I just want to forget about it.
Who's up?
I'll do it.
Cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
They'll want to stay. Light the candle to open the door. Blow it out to close it. Put your hand on it. Now say, talk to me.
Talk to me.
What did the hand feel like?
It felt amazing. I could see and feel everything on the other side. So my mom, she was trying to reach out. But I'm here. Still been saying stuff.
You mean saying stuff?
What if we opened the door but we didn't shut it? Oh my god, they followed us. I like it. They're not gonna stop. They're never gonna stop. They like you. Talk to me.
Talk to me.
What do you want to hear?
Talk to me.
Oh.
The name of the film. From 2022. Rated R.
Arr.
An hour and 35 minutes. R for pirates.
For pirates. Whoa.
Wow. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces.
Would you hold the hand?
No fucking way. Would you?
No, not really. It's a bit
I wouldn't
much,
trust
isn't it?
people to get me off of it after 90 seconds.
Just doesn't seem good for the body anyway, really.
No, and I think this is an allegory for
drugs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
At a party,
and I don't know the guys who do it, the brothers. They're like ADHD, but I've seen them on an interview, and they are ADHD to the max. They're
Danny and Michael
fucking
Philippe.
Bouncing off the walls, both of them.
They got famous because YouTube videos where they just made it look great with good CGI effects.
Oh, that's what they do. I didn't know what they did.
Yeah, they can do some great stuff on YouTube, and yeah, that's how they got big, and then they got to make a film.
Well, that's good. I guess they learned how to make films in a certain way. Obviously, they had a proper crew department underneath them doing the jobs at hand at this. But this is a pretty well-handed, director-wise film. It's handled well. It's
directed really well, in my opinion.
For a first-time movie, it's pretty good, actually. I think the performances, getting exactly what you want from people, is pretty good.
I think, in my opinion, this is up there as close to a sort of a Sam Raimi type movie that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I'm glad that these kids, through YouTube, basically cable TV, the Wayne's World, etc. Do you know what I mean? In a sort of sense, as classing YouTube as cable. But the fact that you can just put your own content on it, and then you go ahead and get movies from it. And there's not the only people, other amazing things that happen to YouTubers. But it's such a crazy world we live in now, where that is, it's general people being able to get out there. But anyway, I'm really glad that these guys happen to have done this film, because it's really well made film, and it did well. So it's good because they can go off and make some more films, because I'm interested to see what they do. They have written basically the concept of this in different countries.
Yeah, and they're very passionate about keeping everything Australian, because they're Australian. This film is set, obviously,
I don't know
in Australia.
If they do a different film next, or they will do a universe of this.
They are making a sequel to Talk to Me.
Okay, then.
But they have said that they will try to predominantly keep any films that they make set in Australia, and remakes of their films have to be set. At least have the practical effects done in Australia, so they
keep the business in Australia. That's good.
Yeah, they're trying to keep it there as much as they can.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, because of that, all of the actors and actresses in this are people I don't think I've ever seen in anything, which I really liked. And I think that the girl Sophia Wilde, that plays our main girl Maya, is absolutely phenomenal in this. I thought.
Yeah, it's not bad.
She kept my eyes on her every scene she was in. And just good performances all round, really.
Yeah, totally. I'm a big fan of Australian cinema. I love what they do. Yeah, it's a pretty decent film. This is my second time viewing it. I got to admit, though, this time viewing it, because I knew what was happening, it felt like a lot of talking between things happening this time round, which I noticed because I knew what was happening. I was waiting for those. Oh, that's the cool bit, because when you take away from this movie, it's the whole hand thing is the cool thing. That's what you're known for, and that's what made it popular. And it's got a great concept, but there's a lot of talking in between that upon repeat viewings.
So you're waiting because you've already seen it. You're waiting for
those excite bits, which is it's kind of like, I guess, waiting for Jason to kill.
Because this was my first time, I didn't obviously notice that, because I was getting all the backstory exposition, the build-up of the characters.
It felt like...
I get that.
It was like, shit, they've been talking for a while, and I kind of drifted off a bit what they're talking about, Now, what this film does really well for me is it does throw some shocking sort of things in, because although, there is some talking, some backstory and exposition, then suddenly you get something pretty horrific happen, and again, it's a really interesting look at a take on what the new generation, younger than us, are doing with social media at a party. Isn't this New Zealand? You sure it's Australian?
Yeah, it's Australia.
Oh, okay.
What's really interesting is we never had social media or camera phones as kids, thank God, because we all did silly things. We're almost 50 now, but kids these days, if they're at a party and they do something stupid,
dude, I was thinking about this the other day, and it's sorry to cut you off, but I'm just going for where you're going, because I know we could talk about the shit that we would have done if we had cameras.
I know,
I'm so happy. Yes, you might learn from that, but goddamn, everything you do is there. Everything.
Yeah, and that's it. But what that also does is, and it's really demonstrated when the kids are sort of filming each other while they're having these demonic possessions, they're all laughing, because that's what sadly some kids are like. When they see a kid getting beaten up, everyone just pulls out their camera phone when they see
helping.
And that's a real interesting look at that, and hopefully the younger generation will at least get that. They might not stop what they're doing, but they're gonna look at this and think, shit, man, if my best friend was kind of possessed on the floor dribbling and snogging a dog.
No, they're not going to think that at all.
No,
you're hoping that they're going to think that, but they're not going to even contemplate any of it.
Because at 16, I didn't really give a shit.
You'd been just putting it in front, going, look at you twat, and filming it and kicking them as well or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Rachel, she mentioned the foot sucking scene, but I'm surprised she didn't mention the dog kissing scene, because oh boy.
Gets in there.
He gets right in there with that tongue. But again, that was all special effects. We'll talk about that scene when we come to it. So it's an A24 film as well.
In Sonic 3, Jim Carrey really likes another universe Jim Carrey. Dr. Robotnik comes along with us really cute. Oh no, it's not. It's Deadpool. When he's kissing the dog, what he really likes, and just lets the dog carry on kissing. You can see he was probably improvising a lot of that stuff, and it was like, oh man, that's disgusting. That really ugly dog.
Yeah, he's the ugliest dog in the UK. He won the ugliest dog category.
It's amazing. So ugly. So really ugly. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds really gets that tongue in his mouth.
Yeah, really does.
Oh, Ryan. Anyway, this is an A24 film as well, I should mention. And it's one film that I heard loads of people talk about. So it was on my list. So I was really excited when Rachel said, I want you to cover it. So here we are covering it. So let's get into it. We open up with a party. One of many parties we're going to go to. And this party looks like it's been going on for a bit of a while now.
It's a weird party because you got like the mum there just in the kitchen cooking stuff. Well, there's this crazy party. It must be her house. I don't understand. It must be her house. Is she going to tidy up? And she's just like, yeah, I'm just going to do a bit of catering for these people over there. It seems very like unrealistic.
Like everyone's there. There's kids jumping in the pool. I think
take the mum out of it totally and just not have the mum there and just walk past. It didn't need to have the mum there. It's
not sure
just
why the parents were there.
Yeah, it's weird. Really weird.
But we've got Cole, who is a brother, and he's walking around trying to find his brother, Dunkel.
Well, he's looking for someone. Dunkel?
Duckett, sorry. Duckett. No, is it Duckett?
Duckett. I've never heard of a Dunkel.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I said that.
But if I can, I'm going to change my name now to Dunkel. Directed by Dunkel.
But Duckett is missing his brother, and he can't find him anywhere, and he's going around everybody frantically. And I think it's a Warner that they did this as well. It took them quite a long time to do. There's 3 secret little edits in it. But
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so he's wandering around. He can't find his brother. He's upstairs. I think he's upstairs, and his brother is upstairs, locked in a room. And his brother's obviously having some kind of episode or something. We're not quite sure, but obviously they filmed this 3 times because they had to break that door down 3 times. So Cole breaks the door down. Everybody pulls their camera phones out, of course, and he finds his brother with loads of cuts all over him.
Well, they haven't pulled the phone out yet until he starts walking through with his brother.
Yeah. And he starts walking through the party, and he's just like, put your phones away, what's wrong with you all?
He just stops at the kitchen and starts saying, what are you all fucking doing? And then all of a sudden his brother out of nowhere just fucking stabs him in the stomach.
He just grabs a knife, stabs him in the stomach, and then stabs himself
in
through
the
his own eye.
And it's like, whoa, okay.
And that's about 3 minutes in.
Yeah, and then that's the
and
credits.
You're like, okay, wow, this is what we're going to get.
But interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, and then we meet Mia. She is a very sad, introverted girl. We find out that she's got a strained relationship with her dad. We find out it's because her mum passed away. We don't know much about it at this point, but we will come back to that and learn more about that. She picks up Riley, who is the younger brother of her best friend, and they drive along singing that song Chandelier together. So that song by Sia, which they were able to use because I believe Sia is Australian, I think. Is that right? She let them have it for a discounted price for the movie. There we go. It's a pretty popular song. Apparently it's about suicide, which is a theme of this film. And they see a roadkill Roo.
It's a bit of a staple of horror movies, though, isn't it? There's always like some roadkill.
Yeah, especially exploitations.
I think at the beginning of that, there's tons of movies where there's, we have to stop, there's roadkill, and it's sometimes means something, sometimes means fuck all. And then later on, they're dreaming it, and they can hear the deer, or whatever, dying.
Even in Texas Chainsaw, the little armadillo at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's like a roadkill.
Well, they stop the car, and they get out, and they're like, well, we better kill it and put it out of its misery. She can't bring herself to do it. She tries to run it over.
Is this her mum got run over? Yeah.
No.
No. What's this symbolising? Fuck all.
It's symbolising that she can't bring herself to follow through, or accept the truth.
Because quite often it means fuck all.
And later on, spoiler alert, symbolising the fact that she is going to become roadkill as well.
Oh, okay. Her mum...
So there is more to it than just fuck all, I promise.
Yeah. Her mum was in Lord of the Rings. I was like, watched it going,
She was, yeah.
how do I know that face? And I seem to know it, like, really well a part of me. And like those Lord of the Rings movies
That's
I've
not
watched
her
a
mum,
lot.
but the mum of her best friend. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
it was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mia tells her friend Jade, the mum is the one that you mentioned, about the roux. She was like, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And we find out that, Jade and Mia have been best friends for years, but Jade's mum, for some reason, doesn't really like Mia very much. She asks after her dad and asks how she's doing, and she feels sorry for her because she lost her mum, but she doesn't really trust her. And Mia sort of talks to Jade about a party. She's quite sneaky here. She says, come to this party with me. And Jade says, I don't want to go. And she says, come on, it's 2 years today that my mum died. You've got to do this for me. And really, really guilts her best friend into going to this party with her. And she's like, okay, I'll do it with you then. That's fine if you insist. They keep looking at their phone because they keep getting these videos come up on social media and TikTok of this incident at a party that people are talking about. And obviously this was the incident where Duckett killed his brother and then himself, or stabbed his brother and then himself, because Cole didn't die, did he? We meet him later on, so he didn't actually die. We'll meet him later on. So they're again heavily emphasizing just how quickly these incidents can spread around groups of people, and even people that don't know each other on the other side of the world will soon be seeing all these videos. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting. I like it because we never had this. So Jade and Mia go to the party, and for some goddamn reason Jade has to take her little brother Riley with her to the party. It's kind of like that. Take your brother with you then if you're going to go. So they go and they get there, and Daniel's there, who is Jade's boyfriend.
He knew when he turning up that his name was Dan, so he was able to get into the party.
What do you mean?
If your name's not Dan, you're not coming in.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Brilliant. And we find out that the reason that these parties are so popular, these little parties that have been happening, is because there is a hand, and the hand is brought out and put onto the table.
So apparently it's an actual hand, and it's been coated, hasn't it?
Yeah, coated in ceramic. It's a cursed hand that was cut off of a possessed person. This is what they say, and it's linked to like ancient Aboriginal spiritual things, because one of the boys is like an Aboriginal boy, so he's kind of like it's sort of got a bit of a hazy backstory about where it comes from. All he knows is basically you have to be tied to a chair for your own safety and the safety of everyone in the room. Then you have to say, talk to me whilst holding the hand, and then you have to say, I let you in, and then they start the timer, and you've got 90 seconds, and you see crazy demons and shit, and you become possessed, you act crazy, and then they have to stop it at 90 seconds or before, because if it goes past that, then the demon might not leave you. I don't know how they figured all this out.
Because someone must have gone past them, so then someone must be out there with a demon, or they've been told that by someone else.
Well, I guess that was Duckett at the beginning, though, wasn't it?
Possibly, they do need to say when they turn up, the main lady in this, is it Mia? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Mia, yeah.
She's not completely liked by the lady who's quite lady. She's quite.
Well, that's a they.
A they.
Yeah.
Person.
That's why this
like
film is banned in some countries, because that actor is non-binary. So this film is banned in some countries that won't allow that. Weirdly.
Okay. Yeah, they're a bit hostile towards them.
Yeah.
When they turn up, they're like, fucking hell.
Yeah. What are you
fucking
doing here?
babysit you, have we? And all that sort of like sniping stuff. So it makes her feel a little bit isolated. But anyway, this game comes out and it sort of does bring them all together, because they're all there for the same purpose as entertainment. Everybody get your phones out. Who wants to have a go? Roll up, scream if you want to go faster.
And Mia, basically, like following on from exactly what you just said, she thinks, well, if I go first, people will like me. I'll be accepted into the group.
It's one of those things like, oh, I'm going to make a really bad joke right now, but I know people will like it, even though I don't really want to say it or something, you know.
Yeah,
which I've done in school. I did that to just try and make friends, and I said, I'm not going to repeat it to my music teacher. It was rude.
Oh dear.
It's about music and fingering, because she's teaching piano playing, but I'm not going to say.
Go on, say it.
I said, Mrs. I can't remember her name. Could I finger you? And she was probably like 70.
Wow.
Put my hand up in class and said it. And I said it. I said, no, I don't want to say it, but I know everyone's going to laugh, and it makes me more liked.
And what did she say?
Oh, I don't remember any of that. I just remember everybody laughing. So
she didn't say yes then.
Job done. Oh, Mrs. Wilson. That was who it was. She was quite old.
She didn't let you tinkle on her ivories then.
That would be proper old lady Peter Folden. That'd be, you know.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, weird conversation on right now.
Well, anyway, she says to talk to me. I let you in, Maya, and an old man appears in front of her. It's really good creature effects here. And she starts laughing, possessed, obviously manically. It's quite a creepy scene here. She points at a corner of the room and says, there he is, and there's no one there. And then a door shuts, and they're all filming it like, whoa, because they're all used to it. They've seen this before, these kids. They just don't know what's going to happen and what type of demon it is.
She looks at her brother and says, they like you.
Yeah, they like you. And later on, like, that's going to be very evident when sadly, Riley will end up in hell later on. So that's why she says that to him. And then they can't get the hand off of her as they're getting to the 90-second mark. So they sort of have to pin her down on the floor, and she's going, run.
So is this then, we're saying basically, they're saying this is the catalyst of what sets off her being possessed and seeing stuff more to real? No, what point does she die? Or
when she gets run over by the truck.
Yeah, I know, silly question. But, I mean, at this point, this must mean something, though, her having it for longer night. They said don't do it. She's gone and done it. So this must mean something. What happens?
Well, what happens
she's
is
opening
that...
it up. She's not shutting it down. She's opening it up more.
Yeah, and also, later on, she'll become obsessed with the fact that she might be able to talk to her dead mum through this. And her dead mum's kind of tricking her, because it's not really her mum, it's demons.
Which we've seen demons do before. They like to trick you.
Yeah.
Don't trust a demon, ladies and gentlemen.
Basically, they want Riley. For whatever reason, the demons through this hand want Riley, the young brother. And they're going through Maya, because she's just very susceptible to it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, they managed to get the hand off of her, and it's all kind of over, and they all have a good laugh about it. And later on... That was good when you got possessed at that party, wasn't it? Fuck you. No. Normally, it's like, remember when you threw up all over the bath stand?
Right.
Remember that time you were possessed and your head twisted round and your eyes rolled back? Later on, though, Maya's back at Jade's. And
I did like here, this is the Lord of the Rings mum, and I did like the fact she's going around trying to trick the kids into saying if there's a party. That's all right. She told me there's a party. What time's it going ahead? There's no party, Mum. What are you on about? Don't worry about it. She's told me. It's fine. And she keeps going back and forth. I love it.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, that's the next day. So just before that, the end of the day where they've just had the hand, we see the aftermath, which is that Riley, the brother, is quite scared. He says to his sister, can I come into your room? And she's like, no, you can't come into my room. And he goes downstairs where Maya is sleeping on the sofa, and he's like, can I lie next to you for a little bit? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. And he says to her, how did it feel? How did the hand thing feel? And she says, oh, it felt amazing. Sort of really amps it up. And then she tells him her mum died because she accidentally took too many sleeping pills. And he says, oh, so were you depressed? And she was like, yeah, I felt really depressed. I felt really suicidal, but I think I'm okay now. And then he falls asleep, and we see like a weird creepy hand near his face, just to indicate that there might be somebody or something watching him. And then we're at school the next day. And everything's a normal day. Should we do another party soon? Yeah, let's all get together and do another demonic hand possession. Whoop, whoop.
Demon party.
Guys. Hey guys, we're having a demon party. Daniel comes over to Jade's house, and this is the party bit now. Really cleverly done, like you said. She's going around everyone. What time is that party that's happening tonight? And they're all like, What party? Don't know about party. It's really cleverly done. I understand why you like that. And then she says, during this bit, she says, by the way, Daniel, you better not be having a party tonight. And if you are, I need to tell you something. My daughter's vagina is prohibited. And he's like...
I was watching this with Sarah and I was like, I'm fully going to say that.
My daughter's vagina is prohibited.
Just to really just make your children cringe.
And then they've got a 2-hour window where mum's got to go out. And the second she steps in the car and drives off, it's party time!
Yeah,
everybody rocks up.
Yeah, it is, but it's not really the same sort of party, though, is it? It's
no,
not
but everyone's
she
drinking,
expecting.
and she's like, you shouldn't be smoking here. My mum's going to smell it. I've actually written here, it's hand time.
That could be a different type of party.
Do you want to come to my hand party?
Go sit in the middle and his hand's coming out, and what happens? You wait and see.
Have you seen Sigourney Weaver's chair in Ghostbusters? It's like that, but they're all wanking you.
Sir Horny Beaver.
Fucking hell. They talk a bit more about the hand at this point, and they say, we think it was the hand of a medium.
Yeah.
And it was severed. We don't know where the rest of him is, but inside the ceramic is a real hand, and it's got loads of carvings all over it. And Daniel, Jade's boyfriend, says, I'll take a turn. So this is where it gets quite gross now. They tie him up. He holds the hand and he says, talk to me, let me in. And they're filming him. And they're all laughing, and he starts sort of choking a bit.
Yeah.
And then
he really is choking, isn't he? They're like, leave it, it's all right, leave it. It's like, Jesus.
Well, while he's choking, one of the characters says, this spirit's a cunt. It's like, wow, you just let him. That's what you got to say.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. But anyway, he gets all horny towards Mia, his ex, we should say, because he's with Jade now, and apparently him and Mia have flirted with each other once in the past. And he starts humping the floor, basically, probably to completion.
I reckon he's got wet pants.
And then, just when you think humping the floor to completion can't get any worse.
Yeah, and the worst thing is, though, this is the terrible advent of the fact that there's technology and everyone's filming it. This is the shit. This could be the example of what someone's like when they're really, really drunk and they go and do something really bad, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And they film it. Then, like, once they realise the next morning, it's all over their social media, and it's them doing something really bad. Like, oh god!
Recently in the UK, there was those boys that were sniffing or breathing laughing gas and driving the car well over the speed limit, and they killed loads of people.
Oh my god!
They were on like TikTok as they were doing it. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's awful, really. Sort of thing does happen, sadly.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Gav, what is the worst thing than humping the floor that can happen? The dog walks in the room.
Yeah.
The dog comes over to him, starts licking his face, and what does he do back to the dog?
Oh, he gets in there with it.
He's really giving it a kiss.
He's just like, oh, give us a kiss.
Now, apparently how they did this was he had to lick he had to kiss a prop or something, and then they got the dog, and then they composited in a shot of the dog licking a tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They didn't actually go for it then.
No. And then they managed to get the hand off of him. And the first thing he says, as you would say, is, delete it now, delete it.
Exactly. It's what I'm just saying. It's just, it's not good, is it?
And then Mia says, well, I want another go now. But this time, no cameras.
Why would you think that's the time to go, well, if he had that experience, I want to see what I'm going to kiss.
What am I going to get in
Let
my
me
mouth?
know afterwards, ladies and gents. Let's just get me going.
Well, they decide this is now a bit of a montage now of them all taking turns with the hand. And it's a bit like Flatliners, that movie that everybody loved from the late 80s with Julia Roberts and all those guys.
Yeah.
Which I actually think is very overrated. I rewatched it again recently and wasn't really into it.
I saw it once and I wasn't really into it. And I'm pretty proud of the fact that in my youth, I've watched some movies that once. Recently, I watched High Spirits again with Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, yeah.
Watched that, went, yeah, bland and boring movie, really, which I thought when I first watched it as a teenager. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, during this montage of them all taking turns with the hand, which sounds worse than it is, guys.
But very surprised by the cast members in that movie.
High Spirits?
Yeah, loads of people in it. It's like, what? That's so weird.
I quite enjoyed that film.
Yeah.
But during this montage, it becomes apparent that they're all getting really addicted to this sensation, and it's almost like a drug. It's like they're getting high. Mia sings in songs. There's a whole montage of all the different possessions from all the characters at the party. Riley pipes up, "Hey, can I have a go?" "No, you're the little brother. Absolutely not. Please, I just want to be like all the big kids."
And
No.
it's definitely drugs, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's like, let me just do one line.
Yeah.
Let me do half a pill.
Go on,
let me have
do
one
it,
little drink of vodka.
And worse for this, though, it's entertainment for the others.
Yeah.
As well.
So he says, "I'll do it just for 60 seconds rather than the 90. No, everybody says no. And then for some reason, Mia pipes up with, "Go on, let him have one go, just for 50 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, then. So they tie him up. And it begins. And he instantly is what we think is possessed by Mia's mum. He turns to her and he says, "Mia, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I miss you so much, Mia." And she's like, "Oh my God, it's my mum." It goes a bit wrong though, there, Gav, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What does he start doing to his head?
What is he doing with his head there?
He's smashing it on the table a million times.
He just goes off on one, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he
he
starts hitting it so hard, yeah.
He's smashing his head on the table, and then he stands up and tries to pull his eyeball out with his own fingers, and they can't seem to get his hand off of the hand. Mia is catatonic in the corner while this is all going on. She sees a woman in the mirror with no face, potentially her mum.
He tries to pull his eye out, doesn't he?
Yeah, with his own fingers. And then we cut to the police arriving.
Yeah, that's like the midpoint of the movie where it's just all gone bad.
Yeah, and the kids all give statements. They phone Jade's mum. "What do you mean he's in hospital?" "Yeah, he kind of had a bit of an accident at this party."
It's like, how do you do that? And they go, "What was he on?" "I can't tell you." But all we've got to do, even a cop, has just got to go and look on social media and go, "This is the new exciting thing that's just really popular, this hand thing. Let's look into this, even though I don't believe it, and do some slight bit of research and detective work." You know.
Also, the mum said to them all, "You better not have a party here." "We won't, we promise." All right. Next thing, she's getting a phone call saying your son, your baby boy, is on his death's bed in hospital.
Yeah, he's mentally, had issues now, you know.
Well, it's worse. It's even just how he looks. I mean, when we see him later on,
in
Jesus
hospital,
Christ.
yeah, he's fucked, isn't he?
Absolutely fucked, yeah. So Mia goes to home, and her dad's waiting there, and he goes, "What happened?" She's like, "I don't want to talk to you about it, Dad." And he's like,
yeah, this is where I've got a note saying this is where it felt like it now started to get a bit dull and dialogue heavy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked this bit now because we see that Riley is on life support and his mum and his sister are there, and his sister's boyfriend Daniel arrives. And this is when Mia starts to suspect that maybe her mum killed herself and it wasn't just an accidental overdose. And when you see Riley's face in hospital, bearing in mind he smashed his face repeatedly onto a table and then tried to pull out his own eye, he looks the makeup effects are so good. He looks absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Old school sort of Sam Raimi effects. I'm getting a real Sam Raimi vibe from this film.
It's great if you say these guys are into their effects. Like having those guys go into it, it's great to have them start directing a film because they're going to use effects.
And Jade's mum says to Mia, "You gave him drugs, didn't you?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, I didn't give him drugs." She's like, "Well, I know you smoked weed once."
I think it'd be too hard to cover this up. If this is real, someone else is going to get wind of it soon, even in the press. Do you know what I mean? It's just not too hard to cover something like this up.
Well, they all blame Mia because she's the one who kind of egged him on a bit. It's like, "Go on, let him just have 50 seconds. And obviously it went well over that. It went to like 2 minutes while he was smashing his face in.
Yeah, really long time. He's fucked.
So Daniel says, "Look, I'll drive you home. And she says, "Do you want to stay at mine tonight, Daniel?" And he's like, "I shouldn't really, because, I'm with Jade now." And she's like, "I just don't want to be alone." And he's like, "Yeah, all right." So they get back to her house and they talk about whether it was her mum or not that was in the hand speaking to her. and they seem a little too close. They talk about their childhood and how they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but not really. And then they fall asleep in the bed, like very platonically. Mia's watching videos on her phone of her mum, and she sort of touches his leg a little bit. And then she dreams about kissing him. And then she hears her dad flashing back in her dreams to her dad kicking the door in and dragging her mum out when he found her body. And then she looks down at her hands and they're all bloody. And she wakes up. Oh, thank God, it was all a dream.
It's all a dream.
But she's still in a dream because she hears a woman singing, and she sees a woman crawling towards her covered in blood, who then starts sucking on Daniel's toes.
Wow, wow.
And this is the bit Rachel mentioned in her message.
This is what Rachel likes. She likes
this is apparently what she likes.
Toe-sucking films.
I don't know if that's true, Gov. But
I don't know.
She may block us both and become...
Send us a postcard, Rach.
Of what?
Yes or no? Just that.
With
a little toe drawing.
Well, it turns out that this is all a dream because Mia is actually sucking Daniel's toes. Imagine waking up to this random... Well, she's not random, your friend, but she's sucking your toes.
I don't know. It depends what your relationship's like, I guess.
The first thing he says is, what the fuck? And she goes, they followed us. And he's like, what? And she goes, oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm doing this. They followed us. Somebody was sucking your toes. There's a woman in here. And he's like, it was you. What the fuck are you doing? He gets his clothes on and he leaves. She stands in the mirror and slaps her face a few times. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? She decides it's time to go. This is my cleverest note I've written in 11 years of podcasting, Gov.
Oh, fuck. Drum roll.
She decides, I'm going to go hand solo.
It's very good.
Because she wants to do the hand on her own. So she grabs, because she's got the hand in her bag. They're like, somebody look after it because the police find it, we're fucked. So she goes, all right, I'll do it on my own then. Talk to me, I let you in. And she sees her mum.
Silly doing it yourself, though.
Yeah, because how are you going to pull out of it after 90 seconds?
Oh.
Hello?
Said the priest.
How are you going to pull out after 90 seconds, Gav? 9 seconds.
I don't know. Just pull.
So she sees her mum when she's under, and she says, did you kill yourself? And she says, no, I didn't. Riley needs your help. Riley's in trouble. He's in a bad place. And she's like, what the fuck? And Riley's mum, we cut to Riley's mum washing him in the hospital. He's completely fucked
up, isn't he?
He's not
sort of
speaking.
Comatose, yeah.
And when he comes around a little bit, becomes a bit conscious, and immediately the first thing he does is just start smashing his head into the tiles until there's just blood pouring out everywhere. And then he starts licking the blood off the floor. And the nurses come in and they have to restrain him and knock him out again. And it turns out whenever he comes around, becomes conscious, he starts taking chunks out of his own arms with his teeth or smashing his own face in. He just tries to commit suicide every time he wakes up. Imagine that. Fucking hell, what a cycle.
Well, what someone like that is going to be sedated and put into a hospital, aren't they?
Yep.
And that's their life.
Awful. Outside of all of this, though, the kids all catch up with each other, and this is where they explain about Riley keep trying to commit suicide. Maya tells everybody, look, I keep seeing ghosts. Has anybody else seen ghosts? Because I think I've seen my mum. And it's revealed that Duckett, the guy from the very beginning who stabbed himself through the eye after stabbing his brother, he was the original owner of the hand, and his brother Cole is still alive. Let's go talk to Cole. So they wait for him at the bus stop. Bus stop, bus stop.
Bus stop.
Waiting at the bus stop. And they wait for him, they talk to him. He basically tells them to fuck off and leave him alone. So they all get on the bus and follow him, poor guy.
Just like, fuck off.
Now I can't escape you because I'm on the bus. Jade tells Cole about her brother who is fucked in hospital. Jade and Maya have a bit of an argument, and they they realise, because one of the other things they have to do is light a candle, and they realise that when they took the hand off of Riley, they didn't blow the candle out. And apparently blowing the candle out kind of closes the door to the demon.
We all know that. Why didn't they know that?
We all know about the candle. Blow it out.
You all know you got to say goodbye.
Bye-bye, demon.
Yeah.
Door shut.
Dickheads.
So therefore, technically, they think they've left the door open. So they tell me, right, okay, what you can do, and Jade agrees to this, is go to the hospital, use the hand on Riley while he's in a fucking coma, and then destroy the hand. Once you've sorted him out, destroy the hand. So, hospital, Maya, Jade, Daniel. My mum's gone out for an hour. Get the hand out on the table, put it in Riley's hand, light the candle. A little girl appears on the bed.
Yeah.
And she says to the little girl, I'll let you in. And she says, is there a boy here? And she says, he's in limbo. He's in a bad place.
With loads of naked old men, it looks like.
Well, it's hell, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hell. A lot of old naked men. It does look like he's being...
Old man's cock.
Used around. Oof.
Oh, God. Well, apparently this scene was about 3 minutes long in total, and they said it was too much, and they trimmed it back to
you don't need
15
much,
seconds, 20 seconds.
Yeah, you only need a flash of it. Christ.
I don't need 3 minutes of hell.
It's like, oh.
Thank you. I feel like I was there already. So she realises he's basically trapped in hell, which is why he keeps trying to kill himself every time he wakes up. So she tells Jade what she saw, and she gets home, and for some goddamn reason, this is the bad time. He doesn't know it, but Mia's dad says, sit down, Mia. I need to tell you the truth about your mum. I know you got all this shit going on with your mates trying to commit suicide and demon possessions, but here's a suicide note I've hidden for 2 years from your mum. They both start crying.
But she doesn't really believe it. She already thinks it's bullshit, and he's not telling the truth, because her mum's come to her from the other side and said...
Her mum's corrupting her. The demon is corrupting her, yeah. It's not actually her mum, I don't think. I think they're pretending to be her mum.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
And he says, I hope you forgive me. And she says, well, it's not true. And she goes to her room, and the ghost mum appears to her, and not really her mum, I don't think, and tells her, that man out there is not your dad. He's an imposter. And he's going to hurt you. He needs to die. So she's now starting to have some... Because she did it on her own and no one was there to take the hand off her after the right amount of time, and the candle and all that stuff. She's now corrupted by Demon Maya herself, I think, as well. And then Demon Dad attacks her.
Yeah, so where's Demon Dad just come from?
It's just a figment of her imagination, because...
Oh, really?
It's the demon in her head telling her that she's being attacked. And then when her real dad breaks the door down because she's lying on the floor, sort of seemingly choking, she then stabs him in the neck. Her real dad in the neck with scissors.
She wakes up, comes to, and
that's bad, man. Scissors right in the neck.
They've kind of groomed her into being a killer.
Yeah, they have. They've demon groomed her.
Oh.
Demon grooming.
Demon grooming all night. On a Saturday night.
Hey, baby, you want to go demon grooming with me on Sunday? Groomy demons.
It's where we persuade people to kill their family members.
Hey, just hold this ceramic hand.
Do it, son.
In the morning, considering she stabbed her dad in the neck, Mia calls Jade. Hello, good morning.
Bonjour.
I know what to do to save your brother. Just come round to my house. But it's a trick to get her out of the hospital.
Oh, indeed.
Because Mum finds Mia in the hospital room and they have a quick chat. She says, look, I'm so sorry for blaming you, Mia. It's been a lot going on, as you can appreciate. And she says, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Could I just have a few minutes alone with Riley? And her mum's like, yes, of course you can. Not a problem. Leaves her off. And she sees Riley as a weird demon woman, and she says, right, I'm ending this. And the demon woman says, no, he's ours. And she raises up the scissors to kill him, And while that's happening, Jade goes round to Mia's house and finds Daddy dying on the floor.
Yes. But then we do cut to expecting him to kill it. It's not. She's taking the boy out of the hospital in a wheelchair.
She has, yeah, because Mum comes back in and says, "Where the fuck is my son? And where's the girl that was in here? He's in a coma. Where is he?" "I don't know. The hospital are terrible." They're like, "Well, I don't know. He was here somewhere. Don't know where he's gone, mate."
I don't know, mate.
And Mia is pushing Riley in a wheelchair towards a very busy highway full of oncoming traffic. And I was watching this thinking, well, they've already killed loads of people in this that I didn't expect. Is this going to be like a Hereditary sort of head smash type thing that I wasn't... Are they going to drive him into the traffic? What's happening?
To be fair, it's putting him out of his misery.
And as she's about to... Yeah, fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
Well, he's not having a good time, is he?
I mean, he's not, but...
Dan, look, I'll give you permission right now, everybody. I'll give you permission now. If I get like this, get rid of me. I'm a waste of space and time.
If every time you wake up, you just start smashing your head into the floor.
What is the point of living? Just get rid of me.
Podcasts would be shit.
Get rid of me. Take some of my hip-hop records I've still got. You'll like them. You're getting something out of it.
The podcast would be awful. It would be me going, right, he's awake, guys. This is episode 100 Stop.
Start again in a minute.
We'll start again next month.
No, it's gonna be bad. You're gonna have to do all the editing.
Well, it's gonna be shit then, isn't it? So basically, Mia steps to the edge of the highway with this little boy in a wheelchair, and as she's about to step into the traffic, her ghost mum appears behind her, puts her hand on her shoulder, and says, "Well done, Mia. I'm proud of you." And then we get the point of view of just a couple in a car driving along. And then suddenly they smash into somebody, swerve. And we see him in his wheelchair on the floor and Mia. And he's all right by the looks of it. The wheelchair didn't actually go into the road, and Jade catches up with him and helps him. And he seems to be coming around a little bit, but Mia's lying in the middle of the motorway and we think, oh, she's fucked. But then she stands up.
Hey!
She's all right. And then, hang on a minute.
Uh-oh.
Now, when she was led on the floor then, apparently she was lying in exactly the same position as the kangaroo.
Oh.
They did it so that she was in roadkill. And suddenly she's in hospital. And we start getting a bad feeling. And this is what Rachel said was one of her favourite parts of this. And we've seen this done in other films, but it's done quite effectively in this one. She sees Riley, and he seems to be okay. Everyone's kind of ignoring her as she's walking around this hospital. And we start realising, hang on a minute, is she dead? And then the lights start going out. She's got no reflection in the mirror. She realises, I think I'm dead. Then she sees her dad, who she stabbed earlier with scissors. Don't leave me, Dad. Wait. He gets in the lift. He goes up in the lift, up to a white light away from her. So he's going up to heaven, and she's staying where she is. And it gets darker and darker and darker. And the lights go out, the lights go out, the lights go out. She tries to head to the light. And then suddenly, there's a hand over a candle.
Yeah.
She holds the hand, and she's the demon at a party. She's the POV. She's the demon. It's her POV. I didn't see this coming. What a great twist!
Yeah, I saw it coming.
Really?
Yeah.
No, the first time round you didn't see that coming.
Not like early on, but when we got to that point, it was like,
yeah,
oh no, she's.
Even if you figured out 10 seconds before, It's still a great twist, though. Come on.
I don't think it's a great twist. Her then being the person that they're calling isn't a great twist. It's like, yeah, that's kind
Why
of
not?
Because that's kind of like, that's not a far-stretched thing to do. It's kind of like, yeah, if she's died, she would be then called.
Yeah, but it's her punishment.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's I suppose in that sense, yeah, it's quite cool. I just think it's not that inventive, but it's all fine. It does the job.
I think it's a great twist.
Cool.
I wonder what they're going to do with the sequel. Whether they'll follow on from her, trying to get out of this demon realm.
I think it'll be totally different.
Yeah, which would be weird. But I really enjoyed Talk to Me. I thought it was really well acted, really well shot, and considering it's aimed at the YouTube, Twitter / TikTok generation, I really enjoyed it and liked it. And actually, as an old school horror fan, I enjoyed it. And I can see the influence of the two brothers that directed this, obviously heavily influenced by Raimi and some of those movies like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Thought this was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid, definitely very solid first-time film.
Out of the two, I would highly recommend Talk to Me. I give Talk to Me an 8 out of 10, actually. It's one of the better films I've seen in the last year or two. And I give Old People like a 6.5 to a 7. But I highly recommend Talk to Me. It's a ceramic thumbs up.
Oh, well done. I'd say it's a thumbs up if you've not seen it. If you've already seen it, watch something else.
And like Rachel said, they're both on Netflix UK now. So if you want to check them out again or watch them for the first time and you've got Netflix, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Indeedy. Let's come back for the outro.
Enjoyed that. Thank you, Rach. Bye.
Cheers, Rach. Bye. And we're back again.
We're
back again to say goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen, sayonara.
I do apologise. Rach. I forgot to give you the crown.
God
damn
it. There's a shiny crown for you. Now we're taking it off again.
Take it back. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
You were the queen of the episode.
Queen.
Anyway.
Rachel.
Yeah, appreciate that. Rach, you sending those recommendations to us. I hope we did them justice.
Yeah.
It's great to watch newer stuff. 2022. It's only 2 years old, or 3 now. And particularly really enjoyed Talk to Me. So that was our Patreon pick. That was episode 169. It's time to talk about what's coming up next.
Oh, I'm excited for the next one.
Gav's birthday episode is our next episode, 170. And
so
he's chosen...
It's my picks.
It's your pick. So he's chosen On Her Majesty's Secret Service from 1969, George Lazenby.
Our first Bond film.
Our first Bond film.
James Bond.
Well, it's more like the name's Bond. James Bond.
No, it's Bond. James Bond.
Because he's a Kiwi.
Bond.
And you're pairing that up with Chuck Steele, Night of the Trampires.
You couldn't get any further away from films, could you?
2018, and that is our third. I think that will be the third animated film we've covered.
Oh, cool. Look, guys, if you, it's fine.
He's justifying it now. Look.
I'm saying it's fine if you don't want to watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service before listen to it. And you're not a James Bond person. And you're like, oh, not really. Absolutely no worries. Please watch Chuck Steele, Night of the Trampires. Please just do it. Honestly, you will have a good time. Dan, I can't wait for you to watch it.
2018.
I'm just wanting you to watch this for so long. I had to do it just so you'd watch it. This is just to get you to watch the film.
I think you've been talking about it for about 3 years. So
when you watch it, you could go, oh yeah, this is great.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what our next episode
is. If Lethal Weapon was a horror movie in the 80s, it feels like.
But animated.
Animated with claymation.
Amazing. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's 170. After that will be episode 171. It'll be a director's special.
Yeah.
Covering our friend, talking of Kiwis, covering our friend Peter Jackson.
Oh.
You're excited for that one?
Very excited.
Something fell off there. He's so excited. Jesus. Was that your willy hitting the desk? He's so excited.
Erection time.
Peter Jackson. We will be doing a director's special. We'll cover his back catalogue. I don't know what we'll cover it in. And we will be covering his first movie, Bad Taste, from 1987.
So good.
And then almost 10 years later, well, 9 years later, he dropped The Frighteners.
Yeah.
What a career that was. 9 years he went from Bad Taste to The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox and amazing CGI for the time. So
it's when he went to Hollywood.
Yeah.
But that first film, though, that is an influence on why a Deadbolt exists. Deadbolt films.
Wingnut to Deadbolt.
And just Peter Jackson. Peter
Jackson. The name's Bond.
Hello, today we're looking at the works of Peter Jackson, a local farmer.
and Dunkle.
And his son Dunkel.
Dunkel Junction.
Dunkel, get over here and take the bucket off your head.
Dunkel Junction.
Where you can take you to Dunkel Junction.
So that's 170 and 171, and then 172 will be
what is it?
A sexy oiled up, not a Diddy oil. It'll be a sexy oiled up Valentine's special where we'll be covering. I picked one and Gab picked one. I've picked the sexy alien horniness of Species from 1995, which I love. What a great cast.
There's some good nudity.
Weird.
It's good nudity.
That's your takeaway from it. There's some good nudity.
I said it twice.
But it's got some good cast.
It's so nice he said it twice.
It's got a good cast in it as well, and it's kind of cheesy but kind of fun, and it's definitely like a Valentine's watch.
It's mine, The Loved Ones.
And yours is The Loved Ones from 2009,
New Zealand.
I've never seen.
It was New Zealand, I think.
Is it a Kiwi? So that's 3 Kiwis in a row. We're going to be doing George Lazenby, then Peter Jackson, and then The Loved Ones. Wow, a lot of Kiwi love. So yeah, that'll be our Valentine's special. So that'll be a love fest for all of you lovers out there.
Make sure you do all your homework for On the Majesty Secret Service as well.
Yeah, I'll do as much as I can.
Have you seen the George Lazenby documentary?
Yes, I have seen the documentary. It was a long time ago.
So you know the score. Yeah. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and the reason why he only made one and all that kind of stuff. But also the movie itself is very different from any other Bond film.
Just the last shot. We won't say it now, but that last shot of the film.
When they made the first Daniel Craig Bond film,
it was this that they looked at and went,
"Yeah, I felt like that was
I think they probably looked at On the Majesty Secret Service and went, this is a really good James Bond movie.
Well, the reason it's so reason it is so good is because it's James Bond being James Bond. But
I like it's a standalone.
It's the closest to being a human being that James Bond is in any film.
Yeah, it's great.
Out of all of his films.
I think maybe watch it, people, as a just standalone movie. Of the James Bond. Is it only in one James Bond? So just watch it maybe it's not James Bond, mate. Think of it as something else.
And the thing is, it's your birthday episode, so why the fuck can't you pick a James Bond? I did Labyrinth, Teen Wolf, I've done He-Man. So you do what you want to do for your own birthday episodes, and that's great.
It's for the conversation. I think it's going to be good with it.
And that's what's coming
honestly,
up.
when Louis Armstrong's singing "We Have All the Time in the World" and that last shot of the movie, I'm not saying it now, is happening, and the camera pans away, I was just blown away by it. Wow.
Yeah, I remember being confused because normally the end.
Do you
of
remember
Bond
that end,
movie,
that last shot?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, and I remember being blown away because most Bond movies end with him just bonking
not
somebody.
Like an emotive response where you go, "Oh my god,"
Normally it's I think he's attempting re-entry or something like that. But,
exactly.
But this one was different.
It's not. Yeah, it's not that. It is not that. Yeah.
How did they get away with that in Moonraker? The last line. What's he doing? He's attempting re-entry, sir.
That's not the only thing. He got rid of Pussy Galore, for God's sake.
Jesus Christ.
And what does that mean? A really huge vagina?
Pussy Galore.
She's Pussy Galore. Well, she just is. Everyone knows that. Do they? Is that why?
Terrible. Well, that's what's coming up. Thank you guys for listening, as always. I think it's time for me to do some housekeeping and administration, and then we'll say goodnight to you all. So, what were you going to say then? Pussy Galore.
No, in fact, Roger Moore. I remember it was the first. It's just his name. If in England, a Roger is to have sex. It's very English, old school. Yeah, a Rogering. So to Roger Moore is to carry on, having sex, do it more. So Roger Moore, and the fact that he's called Roger Moore. So for England, I remember a woman said to me once, "Oh, Roger Moore," and I went, "What?" Where I worked, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And he was in all the titillating James Bond films. It just kind of works, Anyway, enough of that.
I mean, there's also Honey Rider.
There was loads.
Xenia on Top. There's loads of Bond girls that have got dodgy names. Mayday. Merry Goodnight.
Wasn't it Mary Goodhead or something? I'm sure it was a Goodhead.
Maybe, yeah, I can't see
swear
that on
I'm
this
sure it
list.
was a good head, something good head.
Very rude, very rude.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll look at that. Oh, there's Melinda Havelock. What?
But a lot, pussy galore. I was about to say a lot of vagina. That's the one. That's the Austin Powers one, isn't it? A lot of vagina.
A lot of vagina.
Yeah.
My name is a lot of vagina. That's brilliant, that, isn't it? And what's the first Austin Powers movie? What's she called in that?
Oh, I don't remember.
The girl
they are good films.
The girl from Boogie Nights.
I have to watch them with Elijah. He would find them funny.
I'd have to go back
They're
and watch
a bit
those.
adult, actually. I might have to wait till he's like 13, maybe, or 12, 13. It's a lot of shagging.
Well, talking of shagging, let's get out of here. So, thank you, everybody. We are the podcast on Haunted Hill. We're about to enter our 11th year of podcasting. We thank you to everybody for sticking with us or finding us for the first time. We're a proud member of Legion Podcast Network. You can find out more about the Legion Podcast Network and all the other shows on the network if you go and visit legionpodcasts.com.
If you've made it and it's your first time, congratulations.
Yeah, if you've made it to the end,
Wow.
you're probably wondering what the actual fuck is going on. Yeah. We're also under the Deadbolt Media umbrella. I'm proud to be so, and we'll cover that in just a moment. Go to legionpodcast.com to find out more about us and all of the other shows on the network, including all the sort of back catalogues. You can email us directly, the podcast on Haunted Hill at outlook.com. We're on Facebook under the podcast on Haunted Hill, and Legion is on there as well. Join those communities, chat to us. You can message me and Gav directly if you want to, and wherever you're listening to us now is where you can continue to listen to us. We're on most podcast platforms. Just search for the podcast on Haunted Hill. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Podknife, Podbean, Apple, Podcast Addict, etc., etc., etc. And we're on Instagram. Our handle is the podcast on Haunted Hill Insta, which is just mainly where I use little montages and collages to promote the episodes. So the links to the episodes will be on there as well. Mentioned Deadbolt Media. If you go to deadboltfilms.com, that's the website. That's our production company, Deadbolt Films. We've done lots of features. We do and are doing lots of shorts and features. We've also got some comics available. This podcast, as well as Gav's other podcast, which is called
The High
Strangeness
podcast, yes,
which she does with Sarah, and Gav wears Art the Clown outfits while they do that podcast, apparently. I'm going to get a message from her when she listens to this. Stop it, Dan.
I'm going to say one thing we're doing this year, being Deadbolt promoting, I will promote this probably every episode leading up to it, in April at the Farnborough International Business Centre, Farnborough in Hampshire, in England, probably like 30 minutes from London. It's a 2-day event called Horrified. It's a pretty big horror convention which is just starting up. Robert England's going to be there. Quite a lot of people from Hellraiser. All the Franks are going to be there.
Yeah, Sticky Frank's the best one.
Yeah. And that is April 19th and 20th, I think it was. I just shut it down. Brilliant. I think it was. I will say it again, though, close to the time. But do go along. Deadbolt's going to have a table there. So we're going to have a table sort of just promoting Deadbolt. We'll be promoting this podcast. We'll be promoting other podcasts. We'll be promoting our comics. We'll be selling some comics.
There'll be some merch.
Hopefully we'll have VHS copies of Amanda, our latest film, to sell.
Yeah.
Which is a bit random. But it's more of a collectible type thing. Yeah, and we're just pimping our shit. And we're going to also have a table full of our props from all the films that we've done stuff for. So do check that out. We will say that again closer to the time, though.
And don't forget, if you go to Prime, if you've got Prime, you can stream The Shadow of Death, our first feature, for free. And you can rent Preternatural, another one of our features, for a small fee.
Yeah, you can get Preternatural other places.
On the high seas, let's say.
No. It's other streaming, one of the free streaming places.
Oh, okay.
You can see it.
Not on the high seas, then.
Well, you can, possibly. I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, possibly. Whatever.
We also have a YouTube channel. Just search for Deadbolt Films.
And Amanda's pretty much finished, and that's coming out soon.
Amanda started on our YouTube channel in segments and has now been compiled expertly
into a better film.
To a film. And we're on Instagram, just all one word, Deadbolt Films. And finally, if you want to support the show and enable us to keep moving forward and grow, then we are on Patreon.
Yeah.
So just search on Patreon for the podcast on Haunted Hill. Or if you can't find it, then message me directly or email us. The podcast on Haunted Hill at outlook.com, as I mentioned. If you become a patron for as little as £1 or $1 a month, you can get to program. Every 3 episodes is a patron pick. We do a rotation with our patrons. Obviously today, this episode was Rachel's. So in 3 episodes' time, there'll be another one. And you'll tell us the 2 films that we get to review. And if you want to, you can go into detail about why you've chosen them, what you liked about them, etc., etc., first times watching them, that kind of thing. You'll also get a T-shirt in one of 3 colours with the logo for the podcast on it sent to you. You'll also get exclusive access to any additional and bonus feature content that we release on Patreon, as well as our entire back catalogue, which we're releasing every Freaky Friday on Patreon directly. So pretty soon, in about a month's time, every episode we've ever done will be on Patreon,
which is nice as a safety backup if anything ever happened to the main feeds episodes.
Yeah,
because
pretty cool.
It happens. Sometimes things fuck up.
These things do happen.
Shit can get lost. So
you'll also get a big thank you from me at the end of each episode. So I'm going to do that now with all of our patrons and thank them all by name. So I'm going to say, talk to me to Dante, Don Collier, Matthew Godley, Jamie Jenkins, Kevin S5, Sarah Kay, Rachel, RJ McCready, and Lex Boo. We let you in.
We definitely let you in. Thanks so much, guys. Again, massively appreciate it. And we're so happy we can do these Patreon episodes for you.
Yes, thank you to all our patrons. Thank you to all our listeners, supporters, followers.
I think it's Matthew. Matthew originally gave us the idea, wasn't it?
It was Matthew, and he is up next,
you, Matthew.
I believe.
Oh.
And I know what he's chosen. And I think you do as well, Gav, but we'll save that for next episode when we talk about it, because I want to announce that.
Yeah, but I forget everything. I forget everything, so I have forgotten already. But it's always nice, though. It's nice having a forgetful memory, because then you have pleasant surprises again.
And you've always got me, who's got a terrible memory that remembers absolutely every last detail of everything. So that's why we worked well together.
Yes, I do like it. It's weird when someone says, don't you remember that party, Gav, when you were skateboarding on that kitchen worktop? No.
Do you remember when you held that hand at that party? And
just the shit at parties, I'm like, I don't remember.
You kissed the dog. Do you remember not kissing the dog at the party?
Well, I've kissed a few dogs at parties, but...
It's all coming out now. Woo, woo, woo.
Boom, mic drop.
Pussies at parties as well.
Oh,
that's another story. Maybe I'll save that for the Valentine's special. Well, look, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we are checking out. So we're going to say goodbye and good night. So
good night, everybody.
Goodbye from old man shoving his knob in a sock and beating you to death with it.
Good night from a snogging dog.
Snogging dogging. And it's a good night from every time I wake up, I just start smashing my head. I feel like that on a Monday morning, to be honest. When I wake up, I just start smashing my head against the wall.
It's good night for a good toe job.
Oh, we love a good toe job. Well, you guys take care. And don't forget, if you're offered a porcelain hand at a party,
take it.
Ask how many fingers.
Ooh.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you for listening to the podcast on Haunted Hill. We will be back again real soon.